Hello. Nice. Oh yeah, I gotta post on. I forgot I gotta take a picture of Pradeep for the live stream, or for the Instagram, for the gram, for the shabam. How are you guys doing? Well, honestly, I don't think I need to post a thing on Instagram since I already did the announcement there. It's kind of an overkill. Needless to say, though, I'll take a picture of Pradeep next time. Anyways, what's up, guys? What's poppin'? What's wiggle whopping? Coughing so much I pulled a rib muscle. Damn, I'm sorry, you sick. Recovering from a cold, got a strong cocktail shot to feel better. Damn. Get yourself some zinc in that system. I don't know, the zinc is what saved me. I would taking those zinc lozenges as soon as it started. And man, that makes a huge difference, I feel like, in my, just enabling my immune system to do shit. How's the new sleep schedule going? It's good. It's literally good. Just sleeping from midnight till the morning, and yeah, so much better. Zinc lozenges for what? Just if you're sick, or like you're supposed to take them like as soon as you feel symptoms to like greatly, well, hopefully greatly shorten the duration of a cold. You got sick from going vacationing. Damn. Yeah, how was vacationing? Did you have to take a plane? I heard riding planes has been like hell on wheels because of the government shutdown, which is so stupid. Why the hell did they centralize flight to the government? Like, that just, god damn it. What happened to like airliners just being private entities? They just run themselves. Now you got people smashing into shit. They have ICE doing TSA's job at airports. See, that's what's scary to me, is that, like, I'm sorry to jump right into it, but you mean they're just like normalizing the presence of federal government agents everywhere you go. Liz, you're at your wit's end. Hello, wit's end. I'm Dad. Amy, welcome. Thank you for the gifter too. Lisa, thank you for starting to stream earlier. You're welcome. Good to see you. You're eating expired gummies? Like fruit gummies? Ones you found in like your old toy closet? Been tuning in the last 3 streams to sleep and just relax. Been awesome. Thank you for Mr. Reader. I'm a big fan. No worries, Holly. Good to see you. Thank you guys for joining me. Yeah, tonight, speaking of which, we got hostel stories. I hope the audio sounds good. I hope everything sounds good. We got to appreciate every second we got before I get drafted and sent off to die in a desert somewhere. Hostility? No, hostels. Like those things you can... I'm too old. No, Joni, I don't know if you saw. They changed the ability to like register for the draft to 42, or they increased it. Before it was like something like 35, and they increased it to 42. So if that doesn't seem kind of odd to you, or ominous, I don't know what doesn't. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge the draft. That's a good point. I am, I'll be honest. Let it be known for the record right now, I've been a very strong, conscientious objector to war and war adjacents and really anything involving the military. In fact, I'm extraordinarily religious, and it would greatly disappoint my God, and all of your gods probably too, right? Everyone here is a conscientious objector. You take prison over the draft. Apparently it's 5 years and $250,000 fine. Awesome. When did they update the age? Dude, it was like pretty recently, which is ridiculous. Did they update the age of the draft? Question mark. Iran will save the world, our only hope. Dude, Iran is in a position of survival, and honestly, I don't think any of this is specifically for any greater good that they want to convince you over out there. Okay. There's no specific minimum, blah, blah, blah. What actually means in practice? No, that's not true. They change something pertaining to registering, maybe forcibly, to 42. Look it up. Telling an AI to look it up. Okay, what the fuck? It thinks I'm talking about the NFL draft. How fuck? Not the NFL draft, you dummy. I'm talking about the military. Jesus Christ. How is AI this fucking stupid? The U.S. Army raised the maximum enlisted age to 42. Used to be about 35. Now people up to 42 can voluntarily join. This is about recruiting more people, especially with current global tensions. Key point, this is a voluntary enlistment, not a draft. Yeah, it starts that way. The actual draft system also changed, but differently. There was a real update to the draft system too, starting late 2026? What? Is this predicting the future now? What the fuck is it saying? Men 18 to 26 will automatically be registered. You don't have to sign up manually anymore. Oh, perfect. Perfect. They're making it easy for us, guys. How kind of them for this stupid fucking war nobody wants to be a part of. That's causing a massive energy crisis that soon they'll fucking make us check our license plate before we go to the gas station. So stupid, dude. We've talked about conspiracies for so long, but it's so lame to see it playing out in real time. And how many I'm just so fucking sick of how many people just downplay everything. Downplay it. Oh, guys, there's not some fucking cabal working against you to change things in their favor. So what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Look what's occurring. I'm not trying to be a Doomerism right now. I'm not trying to get into it, but I will eventually here. I threw my registration card in the trash back in 99. Okay, you're good. Yay for me, I'm 45. That's okay. I mean, honestly, if I die in some land invasion on a beach in Iran, that fucking sucks. And that's about it. The war is so dumb, it's ruining everyone's lives. It is, dude. It's weird. It's it just feels like it's part of a larger process. Release the files. I mean, they'll sit there and tell you that they already did. But I mean, it doesn't even matter. Even if you literally saw a video of a president cutting a person's face off and wearing it, and then mocking the person they cut the face off, what are you gonna do? Team Asteroid? Well, that's the thing, is that there probably will be an asteroid this year as well. You're already seeing fucking shit falling from the sky, and who even knows if it's natural or not. I mean, the government has the technology to just drop various forms of heavy tungsten metals down from the atmosphere and cause no radioactivity or anything like that afterwards. So what's up with the meters hitting different states this week? I mean, do we believe it's... Yeah, right, exactly. It's this might be the year where it's just multiple cataclysmic things occurring all at one time. And there's just sadly not a goddamn thing you can do about it. I'm on my patio and left the volume too loud on my TV on my stream so I can hear both exactly at the same time. It's tripped me out. I'm in your house. Anyways, I don't mean to be a doomer. I'm just saying, let's, suppose all we can really do is just appreciate the time that we have here. Can't wait for the fake aliens to come. Yeah, that's the thing, is there's supposed to be some sort of nuclear exchange back and forth, 150 nuclear devices dropped in the period of 3 weeks. This was something I saw on the internet. and then the aliens show up. But then the aliens are like, you got the reptilians and then you got the Greys. And then the Greys supposedly are the good guys, but the reptilians are the bad guys. And, but apparently neither of them are good. I don't know, man. It's just like anything to bring in this like stupid New World Order bullshit. And it's so boring. Alright, let's read. Let's get to it, huh? We need Godzilla. We do need Godzilla. What if Godzilla was the only thing that saved us? Started straight up blasting. God sends Godzilla. Don't really care about anything I can't control. No point, only hurts yourself. I agree, but it feels good to bitch about it and pretend like somehow that matters, somehow that changes things. But sadly, I don't think it will. I don't know. I've been on, and it's tough too because I feel like I've been almost like overwhelmed with too much information, if that makes sense. And maybe that's the point. But I've seen just like so much ongoing shit about how things are going to get so bad. And I'm just like not looking forward to it. Especially when most of it just, especially like the start of this war feels so contrived, so nonsensical. And then you got like refineries blowing up down in Texas. People talking about like Telegram chats that were discussing the, you know, planning of blowing those up and stuff. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, guys, can we... Where's the people that protect us? Where's our own military that protects us? I don't believe we'll have nuclear war at all. It would have such a ripple effect across space that I generally believe advanced civilizations who inevitably are here on some level won't allow it. Well, that's the thing. Is like, what if that's the plan? What if, like, once that occurs, the whole narrative is that the aliens intervene, but then the aliens are some type of interdimensional beings already that actually would prefer us not to ascend to some, like, higher plane or dimension, right? And so they almost, like, keep you in this ongoing, like, matrix perspective that's a false matrix perspective, and you just continuously are stuck in the fucking loop of being lied to about reality over and over again. Protection for us commoners. It is kind of sad because, like, I as bad as it sounds philosophically, whenever I hear, you know, like people like Klaus Schwab or just like, you know, incredibly powerful people call us worthless eaters, it's sad to say that honestly I do feel like a fucking worthless eater. Because when I sit there, I don't know if you ever heard that one guy at the World Economic Forum, I think he was actually Klaus Schwab's doctor, when he was talking about how they were going to like get people to this new age of, you know, AI takeover slash like, it was like an AI takeover slash just like grid system, UBI and all that kind of stuff. They were like, how are you going to keep people from rising up? And they were like, well, hopefully they will be very distracted by a bunch of computer video games until we get the job done. And I'm like, oh my God. All I eat, I'm literally worthless and just eat fucking burritos all the time. And I play computer video games to like waste my life away. Like honestly, whatever weird little like destructive depopulation plan they may have, you know, rolling out in the next 2 years, going into 2030. I feel so bad to say, but like, who am I to say that they're not right? As bad as that is. No, fuck them, dude, they suck. Klaus Schwab is the actual leader of the world I believe is evil. That's why nothing bad happens in Switzerland. I mean, maybe that's a safe haven for sure. You're a chud, you'll be alright. That's a good point. Yeah, you've got chud armor. They'll be screwing the robots. We consume more than we create or contribute. Yeah, but it's like, isn't it weird to think to be so incredibly wealthy, so incredibly powerful, that you even have any say or philosophical perspective towards the human race as a whole? You know, because if I ever sit here as some numbnuts making sweeping decisions for the majority of other humans instead of like giving them individualized, you know, power over their own lives and whatever choices they make, I would consider myself a bit of a jerk. But it's almost like they don't really have that ability to perceive themselves as just as much of a worthless eater as we are. And hence why sometimes I kind of wonder if they are the aliens and they're already here. And they just, in a weird insect-like sense of empathy towards us, they have no ability to consider any of our feelings towards any of this. But this is the start of World War III and the Great Awakening. Yeah, but who's to say that the Great Awakening, whatever the fuck that is, isn't already, like, in control as well? Like, who's to say that they aren't already dictating those narratives as well? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, even if you wake up to the ridiculousness that is, like, fractional banking and centralized control and all of those kind of concepts, like, if you're in a fucking camp, waiting to be in FEMA, waiting to be determined whether or not you should be executed or you're actually worthwhile for society, your opinions, your great awakening doesn't really matter. Outside of maybe like your spiritual direction or something, perhaps, I don't really know. I believe the war on the people that's happening is a war on our consciousness, and I mean in a metaphysical sense, like a supernatural Joe Dispenza Hertz frequency state, etc. Perhaps, man, perhaps. And hence why it's like you kind of have to ask yourself in your like day-to-day interactions, like, is what I'm doing genuinely good? Like, is me sitting here eating fucking, goody-goody gumdrops and like jerking off to OnlyFans chicks all fucking day, or even working at my job, is it really like beneficial to your like spiritual development as a human being? I don't even know. Hi, I'm new to you. Just curious what type of reading stuff you do. If you don't. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm distracted just because I'm all fired up about literally nothing. But yeah, so on the channel, I read true scary stories. You can see the videos. They're like normal. You don't have to hear me blabbering at all with those. But yeah, tonight, every stream, every Sunday and Wednesday, usually try to start by like 7:30-ish. Now is the new schedule. I will be recording the videos that come out Mondays and Thursdays. Yeah. How's this World War III? China and Russia clearly don't want the smoke. Iran is on their own people, love to bring up World War III. I don't think they understand what that entails. Well, right. Like, I mean, it's genuinely curious how it's all going to play out. But I imagine as the United States starts to like stretch itself so thin with its involvement in Iran, Venezuela, most likely fucking, obviously Ukraine, Taiwan, India, Pakistan type scenarios like that, like eventually we're going to be spread so thin that those groups will be able to like probably get away with a lot more due to just, I guess, attrition, and so like I imagine this year, probably late this year or next year, you're probably going to see China invading Taiwan, and you're probably going to see Russia accomplishing its goals within the regions that it desires within Ukraine, and then expanding their, push into Poland, right? Which is not going to be great. And then I imagine probably somebody like Turkey is not going to be a super fan of NATO anymore. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of speculating, but it feels like that's the direction things go. OnlyFans girls don't care about their viewers. The Whatever podcast talks about that a lot. Well, I mean, why would they? Why would a woman who gets naked on screen ever give a fuck about the dude that's jerking off to them, It's not like they wake up every day and like look at their viewers as, like, the way I can look at you guys is like earnest, normal human beings who like, maybe you use me to fall asleep, or maybe you use it to relax, or just for entertainment. That's normal. But like someone sitting there fucking joinking their woinking, like it's kind of just like almost disgusting in this weird sort of like symbiotic predatory sense back and forth, where one's using the other to get a nut, and then the other's using that person's like weird sexual instincts to like make a dollar. It's just like a endless fucking Ouroboros snake of sin, It's generally not like, there's nothing appealing in either direction of that. And then I recently heard the CEO of OnlyFans died, and honestly, fucking good, man. Fucking goodbye. Cool Cats News. You've been gifted a sub by Amy. Thank you, Amy. You now have access to bonus content. It's a very useless eater of them, isn't it? Hey, Catherine, love you too. Good to see you. We're gonna have to leave Earth. I mean, it's up to you, man. Unfortunately, we might be stuck in this loop here with no choice. Would we be objectifying you if we yoinked it to your streamer videos? Just don't tell me. I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, really, am I any different than like an OnlyFans girl? Probably not. It's really just a means to the same end, I suppose. Maybe my art form, or whatever you want to call it, my piece of entertainment I've carved here on the internet is slightly more expansive than titty pictures, but probably not by much. Isn't banning sex work worse? No, I'm not saying you should ban, like, you know, people doing it. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not good behavior. You're not getting any presents from Santa Claus, that's for sure. Your subscribers are going to have to be your Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is going to have his wiener out. Just be ready. Jawad, are we following the rules of tonight's stream? I did read your comment. It's very fucking funny. I didn't have... What did you say? You told me to bring a big crispy watermelon or something? I don't even remember. Of which I have some blueberries upstairs. I should probably get them. Hey Joel, you asked why I was paying cash for a house, and it was because I'm trying to buy it at auction for 1/3 of the actual value of my forever home. Oh, that's amazing, Carol. That's actually really smart. I thought about having a girlfriend that's nice to be with, someone like Lily from How I Met Your Mother from season 1. That sounds nice. I think I need to switch from banking to farming. Bro, literally any change you make in your life, no matter how drastic, is just going to make you happy. And the reason it's going to make you happy is because you decided to do it and you followed through with it. So if what you mean by banking is sitting at a teller thing all day, then yes, go start a fucking farm and do it now. So funny enough, my name's Joel too. And in September of 1996, I was an 18-year-old gap year student living here in England. Okay, Pradeep has been obsessed. My cat has been obsessed with licking this one. It's like a piece of... He just licks plastic. I don't know why. So I have to move it. Sorry. If I do pass away, Lynn, you can have Pradeep. If I go die in Iran somewhere, in Tel Aviv, I get blown up. How you doing? Starting early? Yeah, we're doing good though. I'm honestly loving my daytime sleep schedule. It's pretty sick. You just wanted a quiet, peaceful life. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's unfortunate to think that they were going to let you do that. So, my name's Joel too, and in September of 1996, I was an 18-year-old gap year student living here in England. Most kids go into their gap year with a travel plan, but not only did I not have a plan, I really didn't have much money either. I knew that if I flew somewhere like South America, my money would go a lot further, and so initially, I was looking at places like Colombia, Peru, or even Chile, because it meant spending a few weeks somewhere exotic where the weather was nice and the food wasn't bad. But then, sometime in late November, I saw a news report about something called Visit Myanmar Year. Now, the BBC showed a big parade filing past some presidential-looking fella, but not a military one, and this was more like a cultural exhibit. Then the reporter talked all about how the country was opening itself up to visitors for the first time in years. It was this huge event, apparently, enough to warrant a few minutes on the nightly news, but all I found myself asking was, where the bloody hell is Myanmar? It turned out Myanmar was In the year 1997, I was hanging out with friends and we were all adventuring through some cemeteries. That sounds fun. Oh, Bomna. Are we looking at the back of a monster or the front of a faceless monster? I've been wondering that since its creation, honestly. You can have a quiet, peaceful life. All you have to do is not watch the news. Yeah, it's so true, dude. Literally every time I log into Instagram, it's just instantaneous. Did you know that you were gonna die today and they were gonna stomp on your head till it turns to goop? And I'm I really wish I didn't know about the stomping on the head till it turns to goop part. We heard that there are realist portals to another dimension are all around us in broad daylight. Oh, when you were in the cemetery? What are you talking about? I find listening to stories to not only be entertaining, but a nice to pass time when I'm bored. Heck yeah. So living off the grid is a good thing? I think so. I mean, if you can make it happen and your standards of living are, not that of, what you're kind of used to with accommodation now. Did you hear about the huge meteor that's coming towards us apparently? No, I didn't. Now I know. Have I watched Invincible? I did season 1 and some of season 2. Why is Joel reading stories while the sun's still out? I know. You West Coasters are going to have to get used to it. Or maybe you'll have to ask the meteor to block out the sun for a little bit. What's up, Kai? Have you watched Project Hail Mary? I have not, no. Is that that's the Ryan Gosling movie. I heard it. Was it good? You can use your phone to find out if there are prisoners on the loose, not the news. That's true. It was really good. Okay. It has some downsides. You might gain depression or insanity might rise if you isolate yourself from society, but pros include no drama or anything relating to the wars. That's true. And you just basically have to wait for the military to roll through or a meteor to take you out or radiation poison it, you know what I mean? Those various things. Or your own starvation from not being good at farming or something. You can run away to the woods or run to the front line with the possibility of hanging out with Jesus. Yeah, you got options here. There's a lot of ways to die on Earth. It turns out Myanmar is what Burma changed its name to in the 1980s. It was initially colonized by the British and then became a big battleground between us and the Japanese during World War II. And then after a brief period of democracy after independence, the country's army seized power. And then, after closing themselves off for about 30 years, they decided that they wanted a bit of tourism, hence Visit Myanmar Year. It was billed as this untouched paradise of white sandy beaches and lush green animal preserves. Only trouble was, it had a wildly authoritarian military dictatorship that did things like use political prisoners for slave labor. And I heard Myanmar's government had built half a dozen brand new hostels, hotels. Brand new hotels, yeah. Hotels. If I die anywhere where I felt my life mattered, not have it be wasted. I mean, that's the thing is that if you wanted to cause, just ask yourself, the meaninglessness of this war. Essentially, some people would sit there and say Trump's doing it to avoid the Epstein stuff, but I mean, it's not like the Epstein stuff came out and he's still in power, so it doesn't really make much sense, but it does seem clear that he's doing the bidding for something well beyond himself, whether it's Israel or they're all working it together, answering to some other master. But all of it just is it leads to a series of meaningless decisions that's one, causing an energy crisis, massively inflating the prices of everything and limiting travel and all that kind of stuff. And then two, you eventually might have to enact some degree of a draft, which is going to greatly piss everybody off, including the base that Trump has amassed, even though it seems like that's being hemorrhaged anyways. And then at that point, you can kind of justify maybe some sort of civil takeover of DC itself, right? Which then would cause some degree of civil conflict or civil war due to not wanting that to take place. I don't know, I'm just thinking like it just seems like it is creating like a cascade of events that you might not see right now, but I mean literally in like not even a week, you might start seeing people talking about the energy crisis in earnest and how it's going to be able to like limiting things. And then just, you know, then you have to pay attention to how the war transpires. You know, do they take that? Does Iran shoot down some fucking aircraft carriers or some shit? And then do we send boots on the ground there and they get slaughtered? And then it's like, okay, we just, you know, there's just so many curiosities to it. I don't fucking know. Unfortunately, it's fair with all that's going on. All this me going to my future job. I'm only 18, turning 19 on Friday. Yeah, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad for like the young people that didn't even get like a decade. Didn't even get like a decade of just like decent economic prosperity of sorts. Also, I want to arrest anyone who looks like Jeffrey Epstein, so I'm trying not to get angry. You're right. You have a lump removed tomorrow. Hard to focus on much as... Oh, I'm sorry about that, Elvis. I hope things go well for you. Yeah, I guess you don't have to tell about it, but... I've been listening to your stories for over 2 years now. Whenever I'm not listening to the radio, I'll put you on. How often do you include your own scary stories? I love to see ones in a single episode. Yeah, I don't have like a whole ton of like scary stories, really, my personal self, but they find their way in there from time to time. War was started over advanced technology from otherworldly human nomads. What do you mean by that? Can you be specific? Bonus content? No, we're doing a normal video for tomorrow. We're just streaming earlier. I saw the video of the Jeth lookalike driving in Florida. Oh yeah, Pete. Totally would have crashed my car into him and played dumb, then called the cops. I heard Myanmar's government had built half a dozen brand new hotels using that same unpaid workforce, which gave rise to a counter-tourism campaign led by human rights campaigners called Don't Visit Myanmar Year. Now, it probably sounds horrible, and I'd never visit a place like that these days, but back then, all I was interested in was how far my money would stretch there, not to mention being one of the first tourists to visit the place in more than 3 decades. And so when I heard that I could live like a king for as little as a tenner a week, that was all I needed to hear. After a 17-hour journey, which included a short stopover in the Middle East, I landed in Yangon. I gotta see how to say this. Yangon. Otherworldly tech was given for using Earth as a rest area in the Milky Way. So wait, what's the war for? I don't understand. Hey Finksy, what's up? Yangon. Rangoon. Yangon. Rangoon. What's up, little moosey? Really shouldn't be that big a deal. I just don't want to be awake for the whole thing. That'll be weird. Oh, okay. Is it in like a dangerous spot? What's up, kitty? I saw that video. Oh, yeah. Playing Grounded. Nice. After a 17-hour journey, which included a short stopover in the Middle East, I landed in Yangon, formerly known as Rangoon. I didn't stay in one of those fancy slave-built hotels. Not even the 5 stars of luxury could have swayed me into that one, that I'm glad to say. I didn't stay in one of those fancy slave-built hotels. Not even the 5 stars of luxury could have swayed me into that one, I'm glad to say. But I did book myself into a nice little hostel near the city's Chinatown, which was priced at a head-spinning 80 pence a night. And the British influence on the place is quite evident in a lot of the architecture, but Yangon also had some of the most incredible Buddhist temples I've ever seen, and the city's pagodas were something else entirely. I'm number 1, thank you, Melinda. Pagodas? How do we say pagodas? Sorry, guys. Pagoda, okay. Every single thing flows clockwise and counterclockwise. I do apologize. I feel like I'm missing like half your messages and I don't quite know where you're coming from. What's the theme of the stories? We got hostel stories. I didn't stay in one of those fancy slave-built hotels. Not even 5 stars of luxury could have swayed me into that one, I'm glad to say. But I did book myself into a nice little hostel near the city's Chinatown, which was priced at a head-spinning 80 pence a night. The British influence on the place is quite evident in a lot of the architecture, but Yangon also had some of the most incredible Buddhist temples I've ever seen, and the city's pagodas were something else entirely. Imagine a huge spire, almost 400 feet tall, and it's quite literally covered in solid gold plating. Then imagine how it shines in the midday sun in Southeast Asia when temperatures are touching 40 degrees in the shade. Needless to say, the Shwedagon, the Pentagon. What? Shwedagon. I have no idea. Shwedagon Pagoda. When you have a chance, I sent you a story email. I think you'll like it. Oh, okay. Yeah, what's it about? Does it fit today's stuff? Hear my voice not speaking. Yeah. It's a little bit different. A little bit more human. Needless to say, the Shwedagon Pagoda is one of the most incredible things I'd ever seen, and since I was one of the first waves of tourism to hit Myanmar since it opened, I got a lot of stares. I didn't mind. In fact, I sort of knew that was going to be the case, so it wasn't a surprise either. And then after a day of walking around Yangon, trying out different foods and practicing my Burmese from the phrase book that I'd bought, I made my way back to the hostel. I wanted to say hotel so bad there. Hey Jeanette, what's up? Then after a day of walking around Yangon, trying out different foods and practicing my Burmese from the phrase book I'd bought, I made my way back to the hostel. It was on a narrow side street, and since it looked quite rough from the outside... I've ever stayed in a hostel before, also it's common in the US to have hostels. I don't think it's common here to have them. I think that's more of a Europe thing, but I've never stayed in one before. I've heard some friends stay. It's like quite cheap, and you know, if you're young and ready to just... Oh my god. Pradeep's throwing up. I guess that's why he was licking plastic, to indicate that he's about to vomit. New Harry Potter TV series trailer, I hate to admit, looks really good. I've seen it earlier. Oh, okay. Yeah. Why do you hate to admit it? Isn't Harry Potter... Doesn't everybody love Harry Potter? It was on a narrow side street, and since it looked quite rough from the outside, and since it... What the fuck is this saying? It was on a narrow side street, and since it looked quite rough from the outside... Maybe there's no since, and it looked quite rough. It's Pradeep okay? Yeah, I don't know. He eats his food and has a bit of a yarf. It's kind of a common thing with like hairball stuff. I love Harry Potter. Just felt so soon they were making the series after the movies came out, realistically not that long ago. Yeah, I know, it's kind of dumb. Well, what are they... The TV series is back to like if they just did different characters. Like Southern cannibalism. Oh, you mean Southern cannibal. Yeah, he's a good guy. What's up, Katie? It was a narrow side street, and it looked quite rough from the outside. But on the inside, past these two rickety wooden doors, it was actually really nice. The hostel's owner and operator, a guy called Min, was very proud of the place, and his wife helped do the cooking, his daughter helped with the cleaning and the laundry, and that was how they made their money. Min's English was really good, and he made me laugh when he quite deftly described his hostel as unassuming. And that was exactly the word for it. Unassuming, because when he showed up... And that was exactly the word for it. Unassuming, because when he showed me up to my room, it was so much nicer than I expected. The place was spotless, the bed was small but comfy and clean, and while the toilets and showers were communal on each floor, there was no one else staying on mine, so I had a section all to myself. And by about day 3, I figured that I made the best choice of travel destination possible, not just because the weather was lovely and the food was so good, but because the place was just so weird. It had been isolated for 30 years, and Myanmar still didn't properly open itself up until about 2011, so when I was there, it was almost like going to North Korea or something like that today, with the place having developed its own little microculture. Going to temples and all of that was fun, but it was a buzz just meandering around and soaking the place up too. At night, I'd open up the windows of my room and then work my way through a bottle of beer or two, smoking cigarettes and just sort of listening to the city hum. But that's how I noticed how, late at night, Min would walk people through the hostel, out into the backyard, and into what looked like a small storage shed. And from my perspective, it didn't look like anyone ever came out again. I say shed, it was made of concrete and had this big iron door with one of those letterbox-style peepholes on it, but the structure itself couldn't have been any bigger than a garden shed. Min would walk them up, chatting like he was old friends with whoever he was with. He'd knock on the door, the peephole would slide open, and then so would the door open once the guard or whoever was happy everything was cool. Wait, what? Oh, hey, Joel. I never get to catch these. I normally listen to live streams next day. You're truly amazing. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. You guys are too nice to me, honestly. I'm so used to the other YouTubers who get beaten with sticks. Which is how you're supposed to treat a YouTuber. That's how you motivate them. He'd knock on the door, the peephole would slide open, and then so would the door once the guard or whoever was happy everything was cool. Now I reckon that there must have been some stairs heading down into a basement or something, because one night, Min took around 20 to 30 people out to the small concrete structure, enough to make me think that there was almost maybe a party going on down there. Then, the night before I decided to ask him about it, Min had caught me watching him from the window at about 1:30 in the morning. He stopped, gave me a sort of blank stare, and then just carried on walking. Now the following afternoon, Min was at reception when I returned from lunch. Now he gave me this playful look as I approached him and then said something about how I was doing a bit of spying that previous night. He wasn't confrontational about it, so I confessed that yes, I had been a bit curious about what was going on in the back. Min said he hosted gambling nights down there. Nothing too extravagant, just a few games of cards played among friends for some pocket change. But then, being the curious soul that I was, I asked if I could join him one night for a few hands of whatever they were playing. Min laughed and said that while he understood my sense of adventure, he didn't care to mix business and friendship, especially not when there was money on the line. But I wouldn't hear it. I very crassly proposed that I buy my way into the casino, but Min wouldn't hear it either, and in the politest way possible he insisted that I stop asking because the last thing he wanted was for me and him to have a fallout. Now I took it on the chin. He'd been a great host and his wife's cooking was phenomenal, so the last thing I wanted to do was disrespect him. But then over the next few days, my curiosity grew and grew until the incident with the crying man, I could no longer help myself. The incident with the crying man. Kiku, thank you for the 10 buccarinos. Very kind of you. Thank you, Kiku. Joel, love from the UK, bro. It's like 1 a.m. here. Thank you. UK, we're actually reading a story from, well, at least from someone from, I think it said England. England, wake up. I tried soda water when I was trying to quit drinking soda. It didn't work, but as recently this week, I am the most turned off to the idea of a can of high fructose corn. Yeah, I mean, usually I guess the transition is what? You go soda, then diet soda, and then more recently I started drinking kombucha because it's like bubbly, kind of sweet, but actually is supposed to have some benefits to your gut instead of like being battery acid. So maybe that could be a choice. Delicioso. Also, I never did this before. I don't really buy like any Pokemon cards whatsoever, but I went to a store that like trades video games and stuff, and they were selling like those large packs of like Pokemon stuff, and then they were selling this one, like one of those box sets, and it had like Dragonite on the cover or whatever, and I love Dragonite, so I was like, I'll buy one of those. And it was like really expensive, which was kind of annoying, but then I went over to my friend's house, and you know, with his son and him, we opened up the Pokemon cards, and then like on the first one we got like a fully holographic, like, you know, full art one, and then like 2 shiny holographic ones as well in that pack. And he said something about it maybe being a god pack. I don't even know what that means, honestly. But it seemed like every pack we opened had some degree of like a full art holographic with like another holographic. I don't know, it was just like really, really lucky. You have a large Dragonite plush. Dude, me too. I actually have one in my room. I don't know, I just love Dragonite, and I've, like, if I get Dragonite cards or memorabilia, I try to keep it. I'm standing in front of Dragonite right now in Pocopia. Dude, I knew it. Tell him I said what's up. That's the newest set. It's called Ascended Heroes. It's supposed to have good rates. God pack equals every card is a full special art rare. Okay. Yeah, well, it felt like that. It felt like we were just like hitting it. You know, we must have gotten like, out of the 9 things, we must have got 4 or 5 special art rares, right? Now, granted, I think the total value of the ones we pulled, you know, it was actually not terrible. I feel like it was like the amount of like stuff that we got ended up equaling like $80 or something like that. So that's kind of sick, because the first one we pulled out was worth something like 25. But it was like one of those like newer Pokemon that I have like no idea what the fuck it is. But then over the next few days, my curiosity grew and grew, until after the incident with the crying man, I could no longer help myself. I was doing my window watching routine one night when, at one point, the door of the concrete shack opens up, and Min steps out with a guy who was crying. Min was silent, and the crying guy was doing all the talking around his sobs, staring off in whispers at first, but then getting louder and louder until Min barked something at him, and the man went quiet. Min then took what looked like a big roll of money out of his pocket, peeled a few off, and then stuffed them in the man's shirt pocket. But the crying didn't seem interesting. He was just... But the crying man didn't seem interested. He just kept whimpering things to Min in Burmese. Now, watching on, I thought the crying man had lost all of his money or something like that, and that the backyard casino had way higher stakes than just a bit of pocket change. It might sound a bit mental to anyone older than 25 because it most certainly sounded mental to 47-year-old me these days. But I just had... Oh. Hey, May. My favorite Pokemon used to be Dragonite as well, but not anymore because I was actually trying to get into Pokemon a long time ago, but it just really lost my interest. My cousin's a big fan. Yeah, Dragonite's cool. I like Gengar. I have a Gengar, like a holographic Gengar Dark card, like from the old days. I think it was maybe like the 3rd or 4th set, which is pretty cool. I gave away a binder full on Pokemon cards worth about 15k, so I ignore Pokemon hype to avoid FOMO. I know, isn't it insane? Like, I remember selling like an actual holographic Charizard from back in the day for like $5 because like I had no idea the value, and I was like in 7th grade, so at the time I was like, you know, I was into it in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so like when you get to 7th grade, you just think you're like past your things that you liked in the past. And I had a yard sale, and some little fat kid came and fucking bought it for $5, and I regret that day every second of forever. So I got home from work and was getting ready for bed when on your page found out you're live. Yipper, we're recording tomorrow's stories and just chit-chatting. Your favorite Pokemon is Mewtwo, Lucario, and Decidueye. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. There's so many newer ones I just don't know. It might sound mental to anyone older than 25 because it most certainly sounds mental to 47-year-old me these days. But I just had to know what was behind that door. I mean, what was really behind that door. It took a couple of days for that blister of curiosity to really fester away in me. But when it reached bursting point, I went to one of only 2 banks in the whole of Myanmar that allowed access to international bank accounts. And there, I withdrew exactly 1 million kyat. 1 million kyats. Kyat. Kyat. 1 million gyats. 1 million booties. Especially Mewtwo's Tiger Striped Charizard. Damn, what's that? There, I withdrew exactly 1 million kyat, which I think was about 50 to 60 quid back then, give or take. And the teller gave me some really funny look as she counted out the cash, but I didn't care. My only concern was thinking of something I could occupy myself with for the next few hours until the sun went down and the night drew in, and Min started welcoming his friends down into that shady basement-looking place. Because when he did, I was going to knock on the door, ask to speak to him, and then offer him a cool million to let me in. I had this idea in my head that it'd be some wild Asian gambling den, with fellas smoking opium in one corner and playing ancient and indecipherable games of a chance. Indecipherable. Really enjoy watching viewers send love from Finland. Thank you, Alexandra. Good to see you. I have an entire dresser full of magic cards that date all the way back to the first release. Damn, are magic cards like worth as much as Pokemon? Pokemon, Pocket Monsters, Pokemon are the champions. You never seen the original Pokemon movie. How do you not know what the Tiger Striped Charizard? I did see that. Oh, okay, so like when he's the clone, like the clone Charizard? I didn't know it was called Tiger Striped Charizard. That's pretty sick. I could use a useless eater. The other new card game that came out is One Piece, but I don't know much about that. I did see that, like, what's his name, Logan Paul, has been trying to, like, manipulate the market on a bunch of, like, a new card game. I don't know if it's the One Piece one or what it is, but it's a little bit annoying. Maybe it's Yu-Gi-Oh! He's trying to get into, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, but it sounds like nobody even really sells the Yu-Gi-Ohs or whatever. They just hang on to them forever. Afro Man. Yeah, I didn't really keep up with the whole Afro Man situation. Did he, got something confiscated and then sued his local municipality or something? Who remembers getting those gold Pokemon cards when the first movie came out? I remember that. Yeah, that was amazing. Especially associating it with the delicious taste of deep-fried Burger King fries. I mean, I work a shitty job, but soon all the factories will be AI. I mean, it's already like automation, but how do they... What's left to automate, I guess is the question. Hey, Azzy, how you doing? It's the best new card game, damn. Afro Man won his lawsuit. Yeah, what was it? What did they take from him? I had this idea in my head that it'd be some wild Asian gambling den, with fellas smoking opium in one corner and playing ancient and indecipherable games of chance in another. And after seeing the shiny, happy side of Yangon, for 10 days straight, I was ready to see its underbelly in the final few days I had left there. And so, around 1 a.m, just like clockwork, Min started walking people out towards the concrete shed. I waited until he walked maybe 24 people through the yard, and then after chugging half a bottle of beer from some... Hey Big Daddy, what's up, bro? I waited until he walked about 24 people through the yard, and then after chugging half a bottle of beer for some Dutch courage, I made my way downstairs and out into the yard. My heart was going a mile a minute by the time I knocked on the door. The letterbox-shaped peephole slid open, and an angry-looking pair of brown eyes appeared before their owner barked something in Burmese at me. I just asked, "Min?" a few times, hoping he'd understand, but all the guy did was slide the peephole closed again. Now I was left standing there, money in my hand, thinking, they're not just gonna let me in, are they? And I also reckoned Min might get so annoyed that he'd threaten to kick me out of the hostel. But the idiot teenager in me thought that it'd be a good idea to try knocking again. And I thought if Min won't come to the door, then I'd try bribing the doorman. But then no sooner had I knocked, it swung right open, and I was faced with a very angry-looking Min. Now, it was very frightening to be honest, seeing this kindly Burmese bloke suddenly turn on me. And I honestly had no idea what to say, and so I did the only thing I could think of, held out the wad of cash, and told him he could have it if he'd let me into the casino. I honestly thought it was the money that had changed his mind, but when he finally did relent, he told me to put my money away and save it for betting. I was elated. But then Min suddenly threatened me with what he'd do if I didn't stay quiet about what I saw. He said if I went to the police to talk about what I'd seen down there, he'd arrange for them to find some pills in my luggage. He didn't specify what kind of pills, but he didn't have to. I knew what he was getting at. If I grassed him up, he'd have to punish me. But if gambling wasn't completely restricted in Myanmar, and Min's little backyard casino wasn't illegal since he wasn't profiting from it, then what the hell was he threatening me for? I didn't dwell on that, though. I couldn't. Min was standing right in front of me waiting for an answer. And I told him that I accepted his conditions, and that I wouldn't breathe a word of what I'd seen. I neglected to mention that I intended on telling everyone once I got back home because, of course, I was going to regale them with the tales of my adventures. I just wouldn't say anything to the Burmese police. But then, in what I considered to be a very delicious twist of irony, it was years before I was able to talk to anyone about what I saw that night. Min gave me this look, like he was weighing up his options and weighing me up a bit too, and then after telling me to follow him, we walked past that big iron door together and down a long flight of winding stairs. I stayed close behind Min, with the guard giving me all kinds of funny looks as I passed him. We walked down steps for what felt like a couple of minutes before the stairs stopped and we were faced with another corridor. At the end of it was another thick door, and from behind it, I could hear muffled sounds of shouting and commotion. Min turned to me before he opened and asked if I was sure I wanted to enter, and while it seemed so bizarre to me looking back on it all these years, There wasn't anything I wanted more. And when I said yes, I thought that he might give me a smile of reproval. I'd love to hear me yapping more, to be honest. I like your commentary. Thanks. Yeah, if there's anything you guys want me to talk about. Oh, my dear Joel, I enjoy you and have done for years, but you sound jaded now. I think that comes... Oh, yeah. I mean... Jaded. Yeah, jaded just like because of the negative conversation about politics stuff. Which most likely is the case there, right? I don't try to sound... I mean, I'm very optimistic about my new sleep schedule and my relationships with people and all that kind of stuff, you know? What time there? It is 9:15, almost. But, yeah, you know, I feel good, you know what I mean? Be a great dad. Yeah, it would be cool. Maybe one day here we'll get someone preg. Who knows? We should talk about the ethics of twerking for peace. I wish it worked, man. We can send all the money from OnlyFans to, instead of sending it to Israel, we can send it to, I don't know, is anybody good anymore? Australia? How else are we supposed to feel about what the future holds because of world leaders? Well, right, that's a good point. I don't really know how not to feel jaded towards what appears to be like only negative outcomes. I mean, when's the last time you followed like world politics or any of the political stage and not felt a constant sense of dread? Like, when was like the period of time you felt like maybe a degree of optimism? I mean, maybe there's some small markers, but it's almost like those senses of optimisms almost make the negatives even more negative, realizing that it was all for naught, you know? So remember, the voice in your head can be your best friend or biggest bully. Please be kind to you. That's true. When you were 12, yeah. Yeah, I like, if like any of my friends' kids ever start talking about politics, I like actively try to tell them just like, don't even think about it, man. Do your best to just like have a normal childhood and don't think about it. Because I mean, it's not like they're going to give any sort of like interesting takes on stuff. It's just going to be the most like generic shit, because that's kind of what it's all devolved down to when it comes to discussing most politics between people, is like just the most generic conversations that really is just easily digestible to a child's mind, but unfortunately also very plaguing to a child's mind if, you know, since they don't have any really way to compartmentalize it or escape it, especially if that negativity is imparted to them by their parent. I think we're all feeling the right emotion about everything going on. Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point it's just like, how can you position yourself to profit from the chaos? But I don't really think we can. So sometimes you have to ask yourself, how can you position yourself for survival or something? What's a hostel? A hostel is just like a cheap form of lodging when people are traveling. A lot of hikers, I think actually going through your country of Spain, I believe there's a lot of hostels in Spain and various parts of Europe. Feeling cozy, Nip? That's good. I guess one thing I can say is, depending on what you say or do can determine if you'll face negative consequences or positive outcomes. Yeah, for your individual self. I mean, but at the same time, like if a train is hurtling at you, it doesn't matter whether you say the train's gonna feel good or not, like the train is still gonna hit you. Everyone feels the consequences. Yeah, like individualized self-talk can really like guide you in a strong sense of self-confidence, but external from that, the world is going to do what the world does. When I said yes, I thought he might give me a smile of approval or something, but he didn't. He kept this steely look on his face and then turned and cranked the handle of the big iron door. And the second Min pulled it open, I realized that it must have been soundproofed or something like that, because it was hit with what I can only describe. The second Min pulled it open, I realized that it must have been soundproofed or something, because I was hit with what I can only describe as a wave of sound. I'd seen Min welcome about 24 people into the shed, but down in the actual basement, there must have been more than 100 people, all surrounding what looked to be a dogfighting ring. I realized that there must have been multiple entrances too, and that Min's was just one of a network of entrances that led down into a space the size of maybe a secondary school gymnasium. But before I could really take in what I was seeing, Min told me to follow him again. As we weaved through the crowd, it was like every single person turned to look at me. They were positively I keep away from all the news, social media sites as much as possible. I am happier for it. I agree. It's smart. They say history repeats itself, so hopefully the 90s come around again. It'd be nice, but like sometimes I just think like it seems like most of our lives are just so manufactured. What we see on the news is manufactured based on somebody like keeping those news stories within particular constraints, or astroturfing a particular perspective. Or in the more like literal sense, things are manipulated within like the markets, which affect how you're doing, what the interest rates on the house is, you know what I mean? Like most things are just like previously dictated based on finances. I mean, you can't continue doing wars without like essentially generating infinite money. So it's just like, and wars are some of the most negatively affecting on the human soul and consciousness as possible. So it's just like, I don't even know necessarily if history repeats itself, because it kind of puts, like the weirdest thing to me that I think people in elite positions of power have done a fantastic job at, and it's convincing you that issues caused by people that are extraordinarily wealthy and influential are that the outcome of planet Earth is somehow your fucking fault. That when you as a soldier go across seas to die, somehow it was your fault that you were sent to go die, or that this is your decision, or that this is a good thing, you know what I mean? Like, or that the world may be suffering from environmental consequences is somehow your fault. And it's just like, I think you're just a drop in the ocean compared to the effect that these money makers really have on Earth. I know that sounds very generalized in some aspect, but it just doesn't, none of it feels organic at all. They say those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, but that's only half true, because those who do learn from history are doomed to watch others repeat it. Yeah, but I mean, you could take all the history courses you want, but I mean, like, if a general who might be heavily influenced from think about it. If you're in a position of military might and power and you have to make decisions, I mean, if the Central Intelligence Agency tells you do something or they'll kill your family, you fucking do it. Or they say you do something or will release a video of you doing something unscrupulous to a dog, you do it, Or maybe from a young age you were groomed into that weird cult system where they abused you every single day till you created a split personality that can be manipulated with a code word. You fucking do it. So what I'm trying to say is that all of these people know what history is, but it's not you as an individual don't have any control over the direction of history external from your own individual decisions. But the idea that somehow it's your fault that history repeats itself, outside of maybe you forming some sort of militia that burns down a data center, which I don't suggest you do, but I'm just saying what the fuck are you gonna do? You guys know when Painkiller Abel Kane was a grown-ass man with a wife, I always thought that they were 18, no family of their own. Who are you talking about? They were positively flabbergasted to see a foreigner in their midst, and I can't say I blame them. I imagine I looked pretty shocked too, especially when I looked down into the little ring in the center and saw a guy hosing what looked like blood into a sewer grate. I couldn't stare for long. I had to keep an eye on Min in front of me as he took us towards a collection of bookmakers. I was convinced I was about to witness either a cockfight or a dogfight. Now imagine my surprise when 2 young Burmese men were led into the pit, one with a white headband and one with a black headband. Min smiled for the first time and shouted, just in time, to be heard over the noise of the crowd. Some of them rushed to the edge of the pit, staring intently at each man. I don't know if you saw, but in Nebraska, there was 100, I think it was 100 acres of forest fires going on right now, and people are completely unawares of what's happening there. You don't hear about that at all whenever they talk about the Iranian stuff or the energy crisis shit. And apparently there's a massive section of water reservoir that's present, like an estuary or whatever you want to call it, like a reservoir underneath that area of Nebraska. And the tentative thing that it sounds like they're trying to do is build a massive fucking data center near that reservoir, and then it can be, obviously it's creating a lot of heat and all that, and it needs to be cooled off with basically rivers and rivers of water. Look for upside down world at data centers. What's upside down world? Like going downwards? I gotta say, when I go to Rhode Island this year, I'll definitely be playing some spooky stories, because nothing's better than entertaining yourself with some good old content before bed. Thank you, Braden. I watched a video on how to combat the electrical fields given off by 5G towers. What's it say? You gotta wear something around your head, probably, right? Tinfoil-esque. Stranger Things. I watched the first season of Stranger Things. Oh, you were referencing the upside down there. Look for the upside down world at data centers. Oh, I don't really understand though. How does that have to do? Is that where it was? Some of them rushed to the edge of the pit, staring intently at each man, and then Some of them rushed to the edge of the pit, staring intently at each man, and then a veritable frenzy of betting kicked off next to us. And then once the crowd thinned out a bit, Min asked who I wanted to bet on, black headband or white headband. I told him it was hard to place a bet without knowing what they were about to do, but Min told me it didn't matter. They were about to play a game of chance, not a game of skill or test of strength. And while some gamblers claimed that they could see the winner before the game was even played, Min assured me that that was nonsense. As I handed Min 10,000 kyat, I asked him which contestant he recommended. And without a beat, he said black headband. Then as I watched him hand the money over to the bookmaker and I placed my bet, I started to be reminded of a film I'd watched some time before, a little film called The Deer Hunter. I remember watching the film thinking, no way does that actually happen, and I had a similar thought in that big, loud basement. I asked Min the name of the game that they'd be playing, and I hoped that he'd name some sort of local blood sport. But when he turned to me, raising his voice again to be heard over the crowd, he confirmed my deepest, darkest fears when he said, Russian roulette. I was stunned. I mean, absolutely gobsmacked. But I made a right tit of myself because all I could think to say to Min was, this is just like The Deer Hunter. Obviously, Min hadn't seen that movie. He hadn't even heard of it, and so he gave me this funny look and asked me to repeat myself. I told him it didn't matter, and looking back on it, I think that was some attempt to disassociate from what was actually happening. And then, when everything went down, that it was all actually real, I realized what a huge mistake I'd made. I didn't want to see anyone get their head blown off in front of me, but at the same time I knew that turning to Min and immediately saying, I want to leave, would only make him furious. He'd warned me on multiple occasions not to get involved, So instead of making even more of an idiot of myself, I kept my mouth shut and watched the game unfold. I thought the organizers might grab each... How cool would it be if someone posted a story based on a true personal experience with animatronics in a restaurant, kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's or Chuck E. Cheese? I feel like Mr. Nightmare might have a video like that, Chuck E. Cheese related. Ever come across a fuggler? No, what's a fuggler? I saw a video of 50 facts about Texas, and being a Texan, I had no idea how cool shit my state has historically, from 50k-year-old shark teeth to a forever flame under a waterfall. A forever flame? Is it just like a gas leak or something? I thought the organizers might go grab each man a chair and a table to put between them, but they didn't. I mean, why would they? It wasn't a movie that didn't need to conceal tubes that made blood squirt out of Christopher Walken's head. The only kind of theatrical thing that happened was when the, I suppose you might call him referee, walked around the edge of the pit, showing everyone how the bullets in the gun weren't fakes or anything. He walked slowly, shouting something in Burmese every so often, and then once he'd completed the full loop, the two contestants stepped face to face with one another. The referee shouted something, and then everyone went quiet. He then flipped a coin, presumably. Guys, one of my favorite stories in this guy at Home Depot had a snake repellent all over him, and the guy behind had an allergic reaction. Lizard people. Internet has the best stories. I mean, that might be the case. A fuggler is a collection set with ugly monsters with different themes. I only know slightly because my sister has a lot. Oh, okay, interesting. I need a cigarette bed, but it's freezing outside. I feel like wouldn't cigarettes just keep you awake? 200 watching live, only 100 likes. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is I switched the stream to like, you know, a little bit earlier, and it almost seems like I've been punished by the live system, because really, I mean, it's pretty easily able to get to like 400, and I don't know, it just kind of sucks when you like, I don't know what it is about YouTube's live stream system, but it just seems like dog shit that they've kind of like given up on, and I guess, you know, I can't blame them if it's not making them really that much money and just costing money. Watching videos in Pennsylvania, our history is pretty wild too. Those videos are cool. Yeah, what did you see on Pennsylvania? I saw your Instagram story because Biz told me in the comments how you switched your live stream time. Oh, okay, nice. But yeah, what can you do? It's just weird sometimes having, I don't know, I just think the live streams just differ too much from the videos because I'm yapping, so unable to like maintain the kind of casual people that might wander in, you know. You never get notifications, but if you're live, you're the first thing comes up for me. Oh, okay, interesting. Getting you through tax season, nice. Are you an accountant, or are you just doing your taxes? The referee shouted something, and then everyone went quiet. He then flipped a coin, before presumably asking one of the contestants heads or tails. They answered, the ref checked the coin, and then after a word from the contestant, the ref handed the revolver to his opposite number, meaning the man in the black headband would pull the trigger first. It was easily the most surreal and frightening experiences of my entire life, thinking to myself, this can't be happening, while my inner monologue screamed, but it is, and you need to leave right now. But I couldn't. I'd made my bid and now I had to sleep in it. And the referee put one bullet into the revolver, and after spinning the cylinder around and slamming it shut, he handed it back to the headband black head. Fuck. Bianca, welcome to the Buttersalt Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you, Bianca. What's up, Drew C? Tax prepper here. I recently found your channel. Literally listen to most of my work days. That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine it's quite the grind. How do you even keep track of everything? It's so funny. My tax guy, like, I love him. He's a good friend at this point. But I look at his nails, and like he has bitten his nails down to like bleeding cuticles, you know what I mean? And I can only imagine like the sense of, you know, neurotic fear that's constantly going through the mind of like an accountant trying to keep all your T's crossed and dotting your lowercase j's. What's the inspiration for the name Saturn Soul? I just thought it sounded cool. Sounds like a band, you know? I feel like YouTube names can kind of just be whatever you want, like a band, and at the end of the day, it's just like whatever the video is what gets views, so. But I feel like, have you subscribed to Saturn Soul? Kind of sounds like something you could hear people say. Could be according to YouTube's weird standard, if you're not doing something overly over the top, then you can stay down. Yeah, sometimes I wonder if like the live streams actually hurt the videos too, like as far as overall reach and views, you know what I mean? Because obviously I talk about some pretty stupid shit from time to time, and I'm like, fuck, man. I feel like I almost would like benefit just kind of like being just some quiet little mouse in a corner making my spooky tapes. Oh yeah, there is a new, actually, thank you for reminding me, there is a new Saturn Soul video that is out, I believe. Let me bring that up real quick. Yes. Let me link that for you guys, I'll pin it. This one is, and remind me at the end, I have to record a thing for it. Most evil businessman in history. During the crowded days of the 1890s in Chicago, a peculiar hotel stood just beyond the bustle of the world's Columbian Exposition. Its owner was a charming and well-spoken doctor who welcomed travelers with an easy smile. But inside the building's strange halls and locked rooms, quiet rumors began to grow. Whispers that some guests had entered and were never seen again. If you ever stopped doing YouTube, what would you see yourself doing? Is there any backup plans at all? I don't really know, man. Probably just like try to buy property or some shit and like rent things, you know, or flip how I don't even know, dude. Literally, I'm like the least I have like no inspiration in my own life as of late on what would like get me going to like make money. If you have any ideas, let me know. I just this is like such a weird fluke that worked out for me. Hey Mallow, thank you, good to see you. Yeah, they do suck, and I have two jobs that always cancel out. I get a refund from one, I have to pay for the other, so I get basically nothing anyway. That's crazy. I like the option where you have true scary stories or true crime stories. Yeah. To YouTube, you may not amount to anything, but to us here, everything for real. I can't do any chores without you blasting my ears. Thank you. Yeah, I don't imagine I'll stop. Do you set an alarm or something on a video for April Fools? Set an alarm or something on a video for April Fools? I don't think so. That's a good idea. I should just have a loud explosion fart noise go off this coming April. Become a wrestler. That is a possibility. What's the comments? How do I even find the comments? Oh, they're way down here. Anyone interested, check out The Devil in White City. Get off my wavelength, Joy. I just saw videos of how they exhumed his body years ago. Man, Joy, listen to 13 to 18 minute videos and you kill it on them. Would love it for Saturn Soul if we're 30 and 40. Yeah, the sad part about Saturn Soul not being longer is that it's like there was stuff that I recorded on the Let's Read channel as a normal length story. So, you know, they're not really designed for super long videos, but I think they would probably do better on YouTube. Anyway, we could get these more often. Joel, thanks. Yeah, maybe we could start posting like weekly. I'd love for you to make a video on a man who disappeared in Nova Scotia in the 90s. His name was Kinley. Nova Scotia is my home province. Interesting. There's some good comments, though. Another milquetoast mispronounced Wikipedia reading with lame graphics. Oh, joy. Oh, damn. Well. Another milquetoast mispronounced Wikipedia reading. Which is funny because that's how the channel started. I don't really feel like it's Wikipedia, but maybe it is. Queef Sweat. Thank you for the two words. Boner, 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 baby. Exactly. Oh, you need the full intro. Yeah, maybe we could release that. The referee put one bullet in the revolver, and after spinning the cylinder around and... Wait. Is it called a cylinder? Mallow, thank you for the 5 Canadian. You're the goat. They'll never stop. Your voice is my subconscious at this point. Hey, thank you, Mallow. Much love. Thank you. On a revolver, it's called a cylinder, not a chain. Okay, sweet. Just want to make sure we get the terms correct. Joel, Saturn Soul about missing people. I just watched this channel. Sorry. Saturn Soul is just true crime. I mean, it can be anything, really. Genuine question, do people outside of California ever look at their lives and think, at least I'm not paying $6 a gallon like those suckers in California and feel better? Because you should. Yeah, I do think that sometimes, like, gas around here is $4, right? Or upward, getting near $4, and I don't know. It's kind of like the same feeling I get whenever I hear someone is dead in another country. I'm just like, oh, that sucks. So I just kind of like think when someone else's life in California is not as good. It's not my problem, I suppose, which is not a great thing to think, but... Been listening for at least 6 years. I've always had this question, are you religious? Yeah, I guess I'm religious. I don't really go to church or anything, but like I do pray a lot and stuff and feel pretty spiritually connected to reality, you know? The referee put one bullet in the revolver, and after spinning the cylinder around and around, he slammed it shut and handed it to the... Man, what the fuck? The referee put one bullet in the revolver, and after spinning the cylinder around and around, he slammed it shut and handed it to the black headband. To black headband. Sorry, I don't... The referee put one bullet in the revolver. God damn it. The referee put one bullet in the revolver, and after spinning the cylinder around and around, he slammed it shut and handed it to Black Headband. And then the whole place went from raucous to silence in the time that it took for the young man to raise the gun. I could see him shaking. And then after scrunching his eyes closed, he pulled the trigger. Yet nothing but a dull click was heard. The room erupted, with people cheering or shouting, and men explained how all kinds of bets were made on when or who or if. But the rules were that each man took 5 shots, and the cylinder was spun before each and every one. If someone died, they died. But more often than not, they didn't. It wasn't like fictional depictions of Russian roulette I've seen where someone's demise seems like the absolute goal. The crowd were just gambling, albeit in a very high-stakes environment, and the contestants stood to gain a lot too. They could bet against yourself in Russian roulette. I heard in other U.S. states it takes hours to get to another town. I don't know if I could live like that. In other U.S. states, it takes hours to get to another town. Well, okay, let's just look. Size of Spain over USA. That's funny. Yeah, so like... Well, I mean, I guess... Yeah, if you're from Spain, I mean... To get from Barcelona to Madrid is probably quite a few hours drive, right? Probably like 4 or 5 hours drive, maybe longer. I'm just looking at like, cause like from the middle of or maybe the east side of Pennsylvania to drive is like, Spain is basically, like, as far as width goes, the east side of Pennsylvania over to Chicago, which is pretty big, and then from like Pennsylvania on the east coast all the way down to Tennessee, which that's like 8 hours or 10 hours or something like that. So I mean, Spain's pretty big, but you know what I mean, like the United States is like 10 Spains, right, as far as landmass goes. Unless you take some sort of like public transport or train or something to get where you're going. If you could pick one other country to day trip, which would we pick? Probably just Japan. I really want to go to Japan. It just seems like a beautiful place. Like you could go hours without seeing a gas station in some states. Oh, okay, you're thinking of like Arizona. Yeah, like, so like once again, the United States is so big that it covers like such a massive swath of, you know, different biomes, you know, like Minecraft or whatever. So like on the East Coast, you're going to see a lot more, like in the Northeast, you're going to see a lot more trees and forests and things like that. But then you go down south, you see swamps, right? And that kind of like lush tropical nature. And then you start to go out like west and you see the prairies and, you know, open fields for literally ever, just flat lands. And then you come across like, you know, the mountainous ranges getting into Colorado. And then if you get out to like Arizona, it's just, you know, it's a lot of fucking desert, right? Same with, you know, Texas and shit. But the idea being is that like nobody's going to inhabit a lot of like areas in a desert in the same way that a lot of like Australia is only inhabited around like the external regions because of like that's where the ports were, that's where people traveled or landed, and that there's just not a lot of like livable space within the interior of a big desert. So yeah, you know, you've got some large highways that can transit you to, you know, through Arizona or whatever, but it's going to be some distances between the towns. But you don't really have that in Pennsylvania. Like it's, you know, the next town over from here, like they're all like, you basically just jump on the highway and just go. Hey Joel, is it easier for some people to gain size than others? I seem to gain muscle much easier than others. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got different genetics, right? There's so many like little minute things that wouldn't, you know, influence the growth of your body or whatever, especially if you're like a teenager. Like teenagers are just like flooded with testosterone and growth hormone and all that kind of stuff. I genuinely would say, like, if you're a teenager right now, going into your 20s or whatever, just like hit the gym as much as you possibly can, you know, try to, you know, eat healthy, like get your 220 grams of protein plus your calorie surplus from fats and carbs and stuff, and just try to grow as much muscle as you possibly can, because, you know, your body starts to slow down with that process, you know, as you get towards the end of your 20s. Doesn't mean you can't still do it. It's just like you're pretty much on steroids when you're like a teenager. I made the drive from I-80 from North Cal to Utah many times. Nevada's desert is beautiful to me, barren and mystical with its mountains and mysterious structures. Something about it. That does sound nice. They could bet on their own survival or their opponent's death. Some even bet on themselves to die, as it meant their family got a bit of money if they did. But I've also no doubt that there were people there who wanted to see someone get their head blown off, and I think Min was one of them. When the man in the white headband put the revolver to his head, the room went quiet again. And then after a second dull click, the cycle repeated itself. The room went crazy. The revolver's cylinder was spun, and then it was handed back to the man with the black headband, but once again, pulling the trigger yielded nothing but a dull click. I actually started to relax a little bit as each man completed his fourth trigger pull without a shot. I'd once been convinced that I was about to... Oops. Excuse me. Hootie Patootie, welcome back for 51 months. Listening to you is still a great time. Thank you, Hootie Patootie. I'm trying my best. Trying not to be too jaded. Pennsylvania is essentially a lot of small towns or rolling hills separated by farmland and forests. Yeah, basically just highways, strip malls, farms, forests, and then you eventually get like the various cities that are surrounded by suburbs and other baloney. Pretty, you know, I don't know, pretty much the same as like the entire United States, really. Wish you could experience another state. I live in Connecticut. Well, I mean, you will one day. I mean, the nice thing about the Northeast is all those states are so small that you could probably travel through a ton of them over their state lines in a pretty short few hours. Wish I could, hey Joel, I'm turning 30 soon. I seem to be much stronger than I was in my teens. Yeah, which is, you know, you definitely can continue to gain strength, really, in many ways indefinitely. Like, things might slow down in your 50s or 60s or whatever, but yeah, a lot of men seem to find like a degree of peak strength in their 30s, 40s, just because, you know, that's like more of a neurological build over time that you can build upon. It's just that there does seem to be, if you look at like the bell curves or like the rate at which people like gain muscular tissue, a degree of a cap, you know, and that cap usually is like you gain most of your muscle within your first like 1 to 2 to 3 years of consistent training, whether it's strength or bodybuilding, and then it sort of tapers out over the course of like 10 years. That's kind of what the data that I saw watching like a Jeff Nippard video and stuff like that, which is logical. 16.7% odds of one of the Russian roulette competitors to die. Nice. You also need the gym to gain strength. That's true. I mean, you can kind of gain it, you know what I mean, like through your initial process of just growing older and growing in general, but, you know, to have that external stimulus of like training and gym, you definitively need that, or your body just won't react and will get, it's like you either feast or famine kind of thing. Wish I had some stories to send in, but my life has been unluckily uneventful. Yeah, no worries. What's up, Dawn? How we doing? I'd once been convinced I was about to watch someone die, but just like Min said, it seemed like it was actually kind of a rare event that someone was killed playing with just one bullet. It was still horrifying to witness those guys doing what they were doing. I just didn't feel like I wanted to run anymore. But then, as the man in the black headband was due to take his final shot, it looked like he was hesitating. Both contestants were shaking pretty heavily by trigger pulls 4 and 5, but Black Headband was shaking like a leaf by his 5th attempt. Now I thought he was psyching himself up to finish the game, but after shaking and scrunching his eyes closed just like he did the first time, his hand dropped away from the side of his head, and he whined something in Burmese that could have been, "I can't." And the crowd went ballistic, not with cheers this time, but with anger. And as the referee began shouting something at Black Headband, 2 bigger guys, who were obviously security of some kind, jumped into the pit to join them. Black Headband put the gun to his temple again, but again he failed to pull the trigger. I started wondering what might happen in this sort of situation, but was quickly provided an answer. The 2 security guards rushed Black Headband. The gym breaks you. You should try Tai Chi walking. I mean, you can do both, but the gym doesn't break you. It makes you stronger. Obviously, you got to be smart about it. I mean, one of the biggest indicators for people's longevity in life, especially women, is whether or not they have like muscle present. One, because muscle sucks up all like the excess glucose that's floating around in your bloodstream after you eat carbohydrates, but also because one of the biggest killers of women as they get older, and you don't realize this, is falls, right? Because, you're older, you're a grandmother or whatever, and then one day you have a fucking fall, and you haven't been training anything as far as like resistance training, so your bones are brittle because, lifting weights helps with prevent osteoporosis, and you don't have any muscle to just do anything. So you fall, you break your hip, and then you get, got to go get surgery at the hospital. You might have a blood clot. There's like a million ways that you can die basically from that point. And so if you want to live long, hit the fucking gym, bro. Most of the stories you read true stories, or do you mix a lot of real and fictional? It's all stuff sent from people, subscribers and stuff, so I think they're all pretty real. Weird that in Russian roulette someone rarely dies. I mean, I don't know. The data can only be based on like a 1 out of 6 to determine. The 2 security guards rushed Black Headband, pinning him to the concrete floor. I thought he might try and shoot them as they rushed him, but he didn't. He just dropped the gun and then backed up with his hands raised like he was pleading with them. Seconds later, he was pinned, and then they held him there while the referee picked up the gun. The ref shouted something to the crowd. The ref shouted something at the crowd, who immediately fell silent, and then he put the revolver right against Black Headband's forehead and pulled the trigger. But once again, there was nothing but a dull click. The crowd burst into cheers and laughter that Black Headband had been scared of an empty chamber. Even White Headband was laughing, and he stayed laughing as the referee spun the revolver cylinder one final time before handing it to him. Black Headband was lying on the floor in a puddle of shame, quite literally too, since he actually peed his pants around the time the referee put the gun to his head. The White Headband Then White Headband raised the gun, and the crowd fell silent again. He was still chuckling at Black Headband as he pulled the trigger. Then bang! His skull all but disintegrated. If you think the crowd might have reacted any differently than before, with any bloodthirst for example, they didn't. White Headband's head exploding was nothing more than something that won or lost them money. Some cursed, others cheered and waved their betting slips in the air. But me, all I could do was stand there, staring at what remained. Did they say this story took place in Ohio? I think the reason that people almost always get a reprieve in the Russian roulette stories is that the alternative kind of ends the story. That's true. Conveniently, this bullet waited till the very end. I went to a special pre-release viewing of Project Hail Mary. It was good, but the book is better. I did miss part of it due to the falling asleep from the dank weed we smoked. That's funny. Sounds like Deer Hunter. Yeah, that did actually mention that at the beginning. All I could do was stand there, staring at what remained of White Headband's head until finally I heard Min in my ear saying, "Congratulations! You won!" And that was the second time I saw him smile, when realizing I'd made a terrible mistake, as it was written all over my face. He told me to follow him so I could collect my winnings, and then once I'd shoved that big bundle of blood money into my pocket, Min was still smiling as he asked me, "Have you seen enough?" And when we were outside again, walking back across the yard, Min reminded me of what had happened. Your vids get me through work every day, so thank you for constantly putting in the hard work. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for listening. Never understand how people can fall asleep in a theater at home, sure, but it's literally still loud in there. Just how I remember like falling asleep because I was just so sleep deprived. And I don't know what it is, like, there's something weird where, like, if you ever gotten like a massage, and even if someone's just like heavily digging into my back, sometimes I can like fall asleep if I'm tired enough. And I think it's the same way where it's like with a lot of like stimulation, it's almost like something in your brain like drowns it out. And I remember being sleep deprived during going to see like The Hateful Eight with some friends, and passing out during The Hateful Eight, being slapped awake. How do police of the law deal with Russian roulette deaths and so on? I mean, I guess this is in Myanmar, so I don't think anyone gives a shit. When we were outside again, walking back across the yard, Min reminded me of what had happened if I told people what I'd seen. Not in a rude or overly intimidating way, he just asked if I remembered our arrangement regarding discretion. And when I said yes, he didn't say anything else until we parted ways. He wished me a good night, but I was in no mood to sleep. Instead, I went out drinking, and I ended up giving away that blood money in pieces to a series of beggars I encountered, and I drank until I could only stagger, and then almost got myself arrested when I tried to sleep on the steps of a temple I found myself at. The police drove me back to the hostel, and thankfully the reception was deserted, and then I staggered up to my room and crashed out on the bed. The next morning's hangover was abominable, and it wasn't until about lunchtime that I stopped vomiting and was able to keep water down. I wanted to pretend the whole thing had never happened, and apparently Min was only too happy to oblige me, because when I finally trudged downstairs to get some of the in-house food, Min was just as warm and cheerful as ever. I ate in silence, and then went back up to my room to sleep off the rest of my hangover. And then in the evening, I went to a Buddhist temple and stayed there until late at night. Now, I won't get into everything I meditated over. I'm sure you can all probably guess the kinds of things that I was thinking about. But I'll just say that I realized for the first time in my life just how full of darkness and horror the world really is, and how sheltered I'd been from growing up in the leafy green suburbs of England. Have I stayed in a hostel? No. What's up, John Laumar? John Laumar. Someone sent me a funny meme where it was like a Japanese video game from the 90s, but it was like what they thought American names sounded like to come up with the characters. I would like to read some of them for you. So this is from a 90s baseball video game where a Japanese game designer had to make up a bunch of American names. We got Sleeve McDykel, Onsen Sweeney, Daryl Archideld, Anatoly Smorin, Ray McShriff, Glenn Allen Mixon, Mario Micklewayne, Raul Shinpanderlane, Kevin Nogilny, Tony Schmerick, Bobson Dugnut, Willie Dustis, Jerome Gride, Scott DeRove, Shone Furcoat, Dean Westry, Mike Truck, Dwicht Rortrigol, Tim Sandial, Carl Dandleton, Mike Cernandez, and Ton Gonzalez. Those are all real baseball players back then too, so it makes sense. Some people might send the stories only to gain attention, but that's not always the case. Yeah, I guess it'd be hard to tell. Glenn Allen Mixon, what a guy. What a feller. Everyone told you kind of sound like Ian Somerhalder. Is he one of the 90s baseball players from that Japanese game? Ian Somerhalder. Whoa, this guy looks serious. He looks like he could be a werewolf. Secretly. What's he do? He's a model. He's a male model. Ian Somerhalder, born in 1978, is a retired American producer, environmentalist, activist. Yeah, whatever, aren't they all? Let's see. He co-founded Brothers Bond Bourbon with his vampire. Oh, he is a vampire. Vampire Diaries co-star Paul Wesley. He also co-founded the Absorption Company, a supplement brand, with his wife Nikki Reed. He established the Ian Somerhalder Foundation in 2010, where he skated taxes. Pretty cool. Okiasa Nijumura with the two says, recently had a scary encounter. Tweaker neighbor. Oh shit, what happened, bro? Send it in. Let's talk about the Chinese plane crash victims' names on the news that one time. Oh yeah. Holy shit. What the fuck? Speaking of baseball players, I have a collection of vintage baseball cards. Should I hold on to them or sell them? I mean, maybe you could get them graded and see what they're worth, you know? Or maybe you could get them graded, see what they're worth, and then, yeah, something Wong. And then you could hold on to them. Maybe they'll accrue in value. Joel, what's with the early streams? I want to get in bed by midnight, so I kind of have to like set my streams at 7:30-ish to get it done. To get the job done. Obviously, videos will still be the same time, 9 p.m. EST on Monday, Thursday, but yeah. Something Wong. I wish there was a way to like tell YouTube to like still tell the people that want to come to the streams when it's going on, and that the stream still has like value to like tell other people. But as soon as there's like a dip in viewership, it just seems like YouTube wants to throw you to the fucking tubes, the tube system, which is logical. I am just a worthless eater after all. Telling YouTube now. YouTube gods, hear me. YouTube gods, do you hear me? And it's just like an Indian guy behind a computer. Hello, what are you wanting? How can I help you today? This is youtube.com. Listen to your podcast when sleeping. Your burps have literally scared me out of sleep. That's awesome. There's a monster under your bed, and he's got some indigestion. Kind of jealous of Ian Somerhalder, because it's like, how the hell? He's like how do you just like stay hot? You know what I mean? As like a star. Granted, I mean, I'm seeing some of these more recent pictures. It looks like he's had some work done, which is not awesome. Oh, he actually looks a little bit scary in the modern sense. Like how did his jaw get wider somehow? I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but it must be a lot of pressure, like, as you get older, to just, like, stay hot. Because, like, by the time you reach 40, and then late 40s into 50s, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? It's almost like there's so much pressure to get some goop put in your nose. They call me old goopy nose. Sophia Vergara. Let's check it out. Sophia... Oh, there she is. Oh, yeah. She was from Modern Family. Yeah, she's looking pretty impregnable. Alright. Anyways. Justin was never hot, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that does make life a little bit easier. I may not be hot, but look 10 years younger than I am. There you go. It was kind of funny when I went to buy, like, Pokemon cards. There was, like, an autistic girl that, like, walked in who, like, you know, had, like, a leather jacket and immediately was like, how's it going, guys? Looks like you got, my favorite game on the screen there, which is pretty sweet. And then I look over... You know, she's got like yellow teeth and stuff, but there was something very nice about it where I was just like, you know, she might be a little off, but at least she's friendly. And I had like a brief little back and forth with her, just like conversating. I'm like, Kind of makes me wish like the entire planet was just like a little bit autistic, where they're kind of like just not quite aware of themselves, you know, and their social interactions. But the nice thing about that is like some of the most normal people you know, unfortunately, in their normalcy, are the quietest people you know. So they just like never like, you know, have social interactions that could, you know, maybe become friendship or something beyond that, you know. And they end up missing out on a lot but sometimes you just need a little bit of autism to lube the old pockets. My name's Devin, I'm from Ohio, and I think you could probably shoehorn this story into a video of yours because it's easily the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. So back in 1999, I decided to do a little traveling before college. The Philippines was beautiful, Vietnam was awesome, and Malaysia turned out to have some of the best food I've ever tried. But it was in Thailand that I got a tip from a fellow backpacker, and that tip was to head to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is this little island off the coast of India, and while it has many of the same flavors as its much larger cousin, it got a very different feel, at least out on the coast it does. The capital, it's called Colombo, and it's sort of like a big human filing cabinet in places. Definitely not my scene, but the little coastal towns were almost like paradise. It was all sun, sea, and surf, and then after deciding it was good enough of a place to spend a week or so, I checked into this little beachside hostel, and that's where I met Mika. Mika was from Finland, and Mika was crazy. Fortunately, I mean that in the best possible way, as in he was probably the most fun-loving, party-going person I had met on all my Asian travels. He was the one who showed me all over Hikkaduwa and like where the best food was and where the beer was cheapest and coldest. And he also showed me a place that did some really good iced coffee, something I think I might have lost my entire mind without. And he also showed me where all the surfer girls... Hey Crunch, what's up, dude? One of these so-called normies. Just in case it was one of y'all's bucket list, do not get a DUI, this is hell. Yeah, what's that like? Do you have to go to a bunch of classes and pay fines and lose your car and all that kind of shit? So I got a good bone to pick with you how you pronounce some places down here in Louisiana. Say them all wrong. Son of a gun. You gotta tell me. I know it's like weird because I think I put them in the Forvo and they're like French places, but obviously the Louisianites might not say them quite the same way as the Frenchies. I can share some crazy HIPAA-friendly nurse OR stories, crazy pants. Yeah, send them in. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. Mucho apreciado. That means much appreciated in Chinese. He also showed me a place that did good iced coffee, something I think I might have lost my entire mind without, and he also showed me where all the surfer girls liked to party once the sun went down. Now one morning after waking up, we decided to blast away the cobwebs with a local hangover cure of eggs, and more eggs with a huge side of red chili sauce. And then when we got back to the hostel, there was someone in our room. The hotel was divided up into maybe 5 different communal rooms, and each one had 3 beds. I met Mika. I forget how to say this guy's name. Mika? Was it Mika? Mika! Mikachu! Cajun French. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do Cajun French. Cajun. Actually gotta keep my car, but you were a good spot on with the classes and the interlock. It's enough to make me end up on one of your stories. What's interlock? You have to interlock your toes with another classmate. Sometimes I wonder if I should submit my stories for my psych ward visits, but they're not scary, more depressing. Yeah, you can send them in. Maybe they'll make it somewhere. 50 depressing stories. I met Mika because we were sharing a room, and the third bed had been empty, but when we got back from breakfast, someone had taken it. We had to wait a minute before they returned from using the communal showers, and when they did, a giant walked through the doors to, well, I was going to say greet us, but he didn't. This huge, fat-as-hell red-headed dude walked in wearing nothing but a towel and some flip-flops, and he then gave us some blank stare and then started unpacking the rest of his stuff from some roller case. Mika was the first to say, "Hey man, how's it going?" But he did the same thing. He just sort of looked up, gave us both a blank stare, and then went right back to unpacking in a way that wasn't just rude, it was weird. I gave Mika this sort of look when the fat guy's back was turned, as if to say, what the hell is this guy's problem? But then, after a moment it would look like deep thought, Mika asked the guy, "Ruski?" Only then did the guy speak and say, "Da, Ruski," in reply. It turns out the guy was Russian, and since Finland and Russia share a border, Mika knew enough Russian to explain that he spoke a little before asking the guy's name. I mean, I didn't understand what was being said. I just saw that the guy got very defensive before Mika raised his hands as if to say, "Okay, I'll stop." It turns out when he asked the Russian guy his name, he replied with the Russian equivalent of "none of your business." And then Mika basically asked him what his problem was, and the guy told him to back off, and so Mika did, and then recommended we leave. He filled me in as we walked along the beach towards a bar that we like to hang out at, and then he laid out our options over beers. And by that, I mean, what do you do about the Russian guy, since he clearly was going to be a... Hey Joel, you haven't played any Souls games, right? I mean, I've watched people play a lot. I tried Dark Souls 3 when it came out. I remember thinking like I really wanted to torture myself, so I played one of like the Betrayed or the Curse, you know what I mean? Like the ones that are like the weakest class. And then it was just so incredibly miserable, the experience, that I just never played any of them again. It's just hard, you know, and to me, I know people like it, but the gameplay of just like rolling, like dodge rolling and parrying, it just seems so, like it's regressive, if that makes sense, like it's going backwards. What's the most disturbing story you narrated? Probably this one. You're just in time. My late husband had a beard and mustache. My skin is sensitive when actually tear open when his facial hair would rub. Oh, really? That's crazy. I think you should play Elden Ring, right? It's kind of easy, right? Maybe even lore stories on the channel. Yeah, that'd be fun. I watched some people play it, but to me, it's just like Dark Souls games, Elden Ring, you know, Bloodborne. You know, so many of those Souls-likes to me, they just look the same. Like the same sort of like, I'm locking onto an enemy. Oh, they hit me. I timed up my dodge. I timed up my parry. And then that's it. It's just like sort of, and I don't mean to be rude, but it literally just feels like the most generic hack and slash thing with like really, I don't know. I think that's the worst part about Dark Souls type games, is that it's almost encouraged like a generation of hack and slash or action RPGs to really be as like uninspired as you can possibly imagine when it comes to like the actual gameplay. I'd love to see them like try new things, and they just don't, because it's quote unquote a Souls-like, and I'm just kind of over it, you know. I have a lovely customer in my comic book store, and my daughter had a lovely Olympic skater teacher who was Russian, and just like here, we are not our politicians. Oh yeah, no, I think that's one of the weirdest things about the whole Russia-Ukraine war right now, is that like whenever it first started, it was really normalized, a lot of like this Russian hate, you know. But I have so many Russian friends, you know, and it's just like I just, this idea that you have to like choose sides and then somehow attribute the actions of like government to like the people that like live around you or something is just so fucking stupid. There's like no nuance of thought in any of that shit. You should try the new Indiana Jones game that's coming out, the review, and recommend it or not. Yeah, has anyone tried Crimson Desert yet? And is that any Gucci? Joe, I understand you are an authority on interfaith, interracial marriage. That being said, I buy my stepson Jordan ones, but his family always gives me what are some shoes? Probably just FUBUs, bro. Just get him some fucking FUBUs. Say fuck it. Just deck him out in just straight FUBs. I'm just kidding. I don't fucking know, bro. Jordans are sick, dude. My fucking friends all have Jordans. And then I come up and I fucking scuff them, because fuck your shoes. And then they shoot me in the head because I was disrespectful to a piece of fabric. Hey, just wanted to come in and say your H.H. Holmes video is amazing and has some awesome stream. H.H. Holmes. Oh, yeah. And sorry, I was like, fuck, I was like, Sherlock? But then I realized that's, the Saturn Soul. Thank you so much for watching that. I appreciate you. Am I a sneakerhead? No, dude. I don't know. I'm not really a materials guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like jewelry. I don't like, I like wearing nice clothes, right? And when people, but I'm one of those guys, like, people buy me gifts. Yeah, I'm more of a stinky head. But when people buy me gifts or like clothes, I just wear those clothes they gave me forever until there's holes in them. That sounds bad, but the moment you choose a side, you give up thinking for yourself. Never forget that the media is good at manipulating people and they always have a bias. Right, yeah, I mean, and they can really like formulate your mode of thinking by making you choose. Because if they're like, there was a story of a domestic dispute, or a woman was injured at a house earlier. She was last seen with her boyfriend or something. The first thing you're going to think before they come back from commercial break is that, oh, I've seen this story before. The boyfriend beat the shit out of her or something. But clearly you don't have all the information. But, you know, I mean, literally people go to death row, right? People go to death row because the jury just looks at them and they're like, fuck that guy. He reminds me of someone that I saw on the bus. Or he's ugly, you know. Or you can come out of jail and look like a model and people will literally give you some social media platform and you'll get representation. You can just do whatever you want when you're hot. It's awesome. Joel collects quality humans, not things. He harvests people. That's true. Justin, you're late. Everybody's late. What are you guys doing? Working? The fuck? Just kidding. Yeah, I collect human souls, bodies. I keep them in a little book for blackmail. More of a jelk master, a jester maxer. Oh, man, I feel like a jester maxer lately, to be honest with you. I'm pretty over it, though. I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I like being a little goofy. It's hard not to be goofy, putting on the suit with the bells and whistles and doing a little dance. Who doesn't like to make people giggle from time to time? I'm jolk maxing. I'm jolking my shit. What's up, Buncho? We need more Joel Maxers. How many streams will it take for all the regulars to know you're streaming earlier? I don't know. I think that's the weird thing is sometimes I think YouTube, like, its notification system is so odd that we have accumulated. It's weird to think that just starting right now, I don't know, maybe it's because everybody goes to bed between the hours of like 9 and midnight, so like the idea of a stream, they associate me with sleep, so they put it on for sleep, and then that's why it increases late at night, and it's all good, dude. At this point, like, the normal videos are doing just as well, so I'm just happy you guys are here. Ejaculation. I have a job interview next week and I'm so anxious for it. Wish me luck, please. You're going to do amazing. Just think you already have it and you're already thinking about how annoyed you have to go work at it. It's already come and done. It's already cummed. He filled me in as we walked along the beach towards a bar we like to hang out at, and then he laid out our options over some beers. And by that, I mean what to do about that Russian guy, since he was clearly probably going to be a problem. Mika said if he was a total a-hole, we could just pack up and move hostels. We'd lose out on the days that we'd already paid for, but everywhere was so cheap that it kind of didn't matter if we just pitched up someplace else. But then Mika also said that since the guy was Russian, there was like a 50% chance that he'd end up being chill as hell once he was drunk and figured out that we didn't actually hate Russians. Now, we figured stay one more night, see if he's cool, and if not, then we'd move on. And then we kept on drinking on the beach till the sun had set and it was time for the real party to start. Now, to cut a long story short, we met up with some British girls, who obviously drank like sailors, and then since both me and Mika ended up hitting it off with the two of them, he slipped away to his girl's hotel room after wishing me some good luck. Now, my girl and I can't go to her friend's place because they shared a hotel room, so I invited her back to my hostel hoping that the Russian guy wasn't there. But then right as we're trying to get a tuk-tuk, which is kind of like a motorized rickshaw, the British girl starts projectile vomiting into the street. Now, not to sound mean or rude, but I knew it was a bit of a write-off. A write-off. A sex write-off. Hey guys, I was thinking if someone vomits in like Antarctica, would it immediately freeze and become like a popsicle? Dude, that's a good point. Would it freeze like as it's coming up your mouth? And it just like freezes in your throat. Are you doing a stretch and a foam rolling session? That sounds amazing. Joe, what's up with the crazy guy in Pennsylvania that's digging up graves for years and selling bones online? That would be a great story for you to cover. What do you mean? He didn't do nothing wrong. He's a good guy. I known him since elementary school. He was just curious. He was the scientific type. Actually, that's a good question. Did he do anything wrong? Like, what are you doing with your dead body? Like, do you need it? You're dead, dude. Joe, you need to do stories on Stonewall Jackson Boys Training School in Concord, North Carolina. The place is closed now, but they had a nurse that was murdered and shoved into the dumbwaiter. Fuck. That's crazy. Who's my celebrity doppelganger? I always say it's like a mix of like Wesley Snipes and Danny DeVito. Okiyasu Nijimura with the two, says Joel. Who is your best eater? Like my best worthless eater? Oh man, good question. Has everybody finished their chicky nuggies tonight? If so, you are a contender for the chicken tenders. Ezra Miller, what the hell? I used to hang out with Ezra all the time. He was a good guy. He was a little handsy, I'll say. Young Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, exactly. Joe, what's it like now that you're getting the sleep they invented that feels like you slept? It's weird, dude. It's really fucking weird because it's just like, I feel like I have 3 days in one day. I'm just like doing side quests and shit after I get my stuff done. And like, you know, going well into your day and remembering you had something to do and being like, wait a second, I can still do it. And it's not fucking closed. This is awesome. And I can have dinner with people, you know, and lunch and breakfast. What the fuck? I had eggs and bacon sandwiches with a side of sparkling wine, alcohol free, of course, of course. Is a restaurant that generates its food pictures using AI to be trusted? I'd love that to be true. It's like some Chinese restaurant. I hope you come back to the dark side. I can't, dude. I can't. It's just too depressing. Like, my whole life was... Like, I felt like... What would be worse in my life? To be like an alcoholic who's wasting my life away, or a fucking nocturnal beast who can't do anything because everything's closed? Yeah, what would wine taste like if it's alcohol-free? Does it have benefits to it? What was your pre-sleep routine? So before it was just, you know, I'd get off the stream here and sometimes I wouldn't get in bed till like 6 a.m. And then depending on whether I had a training session or had to like edit the videos, like it was quite tough to, you know, you imagine like your 8-hour sleep window takes you into the afternoon. But now I'm like midnight to 8 a.m. or midnight to 7 or whatever. and feel pretty dank about that. Because someone left a comment, they're like, Joel, you're 35. It's like, you know what? They're right. Like, sometimes people have criticisms of you, and I'll be honest with you, it's good not to write off other people's criticisms all the time, because sometimes there's a shred of truth to be found in those, and, you know, if the criticism does cause you pause to self-reflect upon what maybe you should change, then maybe you should change it, you know, instead of being upset by it. Benefits like fulfilling the urge to drink alcohol without getting the negative effects, highly useful to a newly sober people or any sober people in the social situations. Situation, man. Get yourself some alcohol-free spritzers. Speaking of people dressing up as the Easter Bunny, that reminds me of the game from Puppet Combo Murder House. I never played that. I was also thinking the other day, because like a lot of malls in America seem to be like dying, and I was just thinking it'd be really funny if there was just like, you know, like there's always like a mall Santa, but for some reason the mall Santa just has to stay at that mall all year, forever, just wandering around the mall, doing weird creepy shit that he shouldn't be doing, and he just exists in that mall forever. Also, some malls are really strange when you go to their bathrooms. It just reminds you so much of like those liminal spaces slash you know, the back rooms type shit. Actually, that'd make a great story. Somebody here should write a creepypasta related to like liminal spaces of the back rooms of a mall, back halls of a mall, and the back, you know, that kind of thing, but then have like just weird characters like that, like a fucking mall Santa Claus that pulls his cock out. Joel, last stream I told you I had a job interview and you told me, Jawad, you got this. I lost the position to a Palantir AI drone. I'm sorry. Really? A Palantir AI drone? What was your job, to like pick up illegal aliens and kill them or something? Pick up anyone that criticizes Israel and drop them in the ocean? An urban explorer being hunted by a neglected, unhinged mall Santa at an abandoned mall sounds like a fun idea. Yeah, that'd be good. You should write that. You write novels if you want. You could, yeah, dude, do it. Like, think of a cool idea based off that. That's your prompt. That's your daily writing prompt for your daily short horror story. So, not to sound mean, but I knew it was a write-off. And so instead of bringing her back to the hostel, I bought a few bottles of water from a nearby store, both for her to drink and to rinse the vomit a little, and then joined her in the tuk-tuk back to our hotel so I could make sure that she got home safe. It was the right thing to do, obviously, so I was cool about that, I guess, and the real bonus was knowing that Mika's alone time with his British girl was about to get in... Okay, I fucked that whole thing up. Joe, what do you think about billionaires in general? Do you think people should have so much wealth concentration basically becomes meaningless? I mean, it's, what am I supposed to say to anybody else's individual wealth? But at the same time, I have a further conspiracy that is like, all the people that we see that are like billionaires are not actually real, if that makes sense. So like, I believe, and I don't have a lot of evidence to back this up, but I have an inclination in my head, and maybe it's falsely guided, but I genuinely feel that characters like Elon, I don't know about Steve Jobs, but who's the guy in charge of Amazon? Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos, and very, you know what I mean, like Peter Thiel, characters like this, Bill Gates, I don't think they're real people. I think they are part of like some sort of strange nepotistic bloodline, and then they get chosen from a very young age to be like basically proxies or like emissaries for these projects, for these side projects where they centralize all, you know, major department stores to the online world. Or like with Elon, he gets to, be the rocket guy, the building tunnels guy, the building satellites guy, you know what I mean? He gets all these, so he kind of gets to be like this front person for like either intelligence agencies or like familial cults that are ever ongoing. And sometimes I even wonder if like him and Zuckerberg are even human beings at all. Like I generally get like a weird feeling that they might literally be fucking robots, as schizophrenic as that might sound. But there's something about their rise to success. It doesn't have like an organic sensation that they just like became successful in their garages from their intelligences. Something about it feels so incredibly astroturfed and lifted up and all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were some type of synthetic humanoids, because you could easily program a synthetic humanoid to sit there and talk like they're a CEO that has all the information pertaining to their front company of, that actually represents some degree of shadow government or whatever. But then also you could change their information anytime you want as well. Am I tired? I feel pretty good. I mean, bedtime is midnight, so... Like Erica Kirk. I mean, yeah, Erica Kirk was like she has some very abstract connections going back all the way to those like... Well, first it was with Trump at that Arizona beauty pageant thing, but then going even further back, like her parents, I believe, represent the Department of Defense within like Israel. Strange things like that in the intelligence community. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like, she just seems like she was, what's his name, Charlie Kirk's handler, right? Everybody kind of has come to that conclusion at this point. Because she's certainly not mourning, right? She's doing fucking, like, WWE, like, intros. But, like, Joel, we have billionaires in every country and totally unrelated and random. Is it possible that there's a system behind everything? Like, there's so many billionaires in the Arab world. Well, I mean, the Arab world is interesting, too, because you kind of do wonder, too, like, sort of tangentially, if they get to just be, I mean, obviously there's a business there. There's a generation of wealth. They get to be the front men for that. But it is very strange that the only, like, successful Arab countries are the ones that seem to play ball with America when it comes to the distribution and sale of oil, right? And you look at, like, Qatar and things like that, and it's like they're successful almost because they play ball and then they operate as, like, a monarchy. Whereas all the other ones seem to be in just like complete, utter fucking chaos. Obviously with external influence for sure, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that there's such a strong degree of centralized wealth within some very, very ancient families that, and obviously external influences as well in the modern era that, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a lot of influence playing upon them as well. It's hard to say. The petrodollar system has helped them make all the wealth. Right, I mean, and it's strange because, like, it kind of seems like we're trying to get away from that. So, like, what happens to those, like, those super wealthy Arab families if we eventually, like, move away? Because it really seems like we're trying to create, like, an arbitrary energy crisis and switch over to, obviously the idea in the conspiracy world is that we have to, like, depopulate the earth by a large amount through whatever war, famine, blah, 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 worldwide communism nonsense. But at the same time, if they switch over to some type of like free energy, alien type shit, I guess those economies collapse as well once they find alternatives. What do you think about Mohammed Salah? I'm not familiar. Let's check him out. Is he hot? Mohammed Salami Pants. Is he? Oh, he's a football player from Egypt. I'm sure he's a cool guy. Do you like spooky or gross? I like spooky more than gross. I think, honestly, like, sometimes in writing, when it comes to, like, things just being gratuitous violence, to me, that's just, like, really low effort and boring. These theories are a bit odd. They are a bit odd, yeah. That's why they're just theories. Game theories. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know anything about football or soccer or anything like that. It's just, in the United States, it's all about American football. And I guess basketball, baseball. Soccer's kind of at the way bottom, sadly. Even though I do, they're great athletes and all that. The only reason anyone cares about the Middle East is because oil, without they continue being in a constant state of war with nobody caring, just like before the oil. It's sad. You're too smart to be on the internet. They're going to jam you. When you say things like this and point out issues, they jam you. Nah, I mean, there's a lot of people that say the same shit that I say. I would say that there's actually been a pretty strong uplifting of like alternative theories within the social media space as of late. Do you find that kind of strange? Because do you ever get on like, any social media website and it seems like they've kind of like don't care anymore. They're just kind of like letting things come out. And I think the reason being is that it doesn't matter anymore. Like their plan is in action. We're going to get a weird energy crisis here soon that you can't do anything about. Like it doesn't matter if you know about some ancient banking family or not, or talk about it or any of the influence, because at this point, if the power's out, if you can't eat, you're not going to give a fuck about any of those like things. That's just going to be like an old book that you read. The only thing you're going to care about is like survival. Earth is designed to be lived in for long anyways, so why are people glazing instead of focusing on the bigger picture? It isn't designed to be lived in for long anyway? What do you mean? Like within its current state? I mean, how do you even know? How would you ever know that, Who's your favorite world leader of all times? I go first. Cypress the Gate. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I could sit here and say some name, but I don't know enough about history or whether or not that history is even like factually correct to sit there. I don't know any of them. I'm sure that they all killed people. I'm sure they all imprisoned people. I'm sure some of them had some pretty nice economies. I'm sure some of them were nice to their constituents, but none of it really matters. Do a poll, what comes first, egg or the chicken? If we don't replenish, you can't rebuild. If all you do is take, then we'll be worse off. Yeah, maybe the Tesla free energy where we pull stuff out of like the ionosphere. Maybe that's the future. We can power all those AI databases instead of using fuel or whatever. Or water. We can just, dude, that would actually be a really sick video game level. A huge dam, right? A massive dam, but like deep underground next to the dam is just a massive data center. Just miles and miles underground with data center, and you're using the water to like cool things. And then towards the center, why it's like so secret, like why there's so much security, is because they're utilizing like a free energy source like to power all of it. I guess they're probably going to put data centers on the moon soon or some shit. That's crazy. Hello, darling. Can you please add last week's background music to one of my requests and comments? Galactic Music Enact. What is it? Add last week's background music to one of my requesting comments. I don't know what you're asking. To keep it short, it's either we die, short lifespans, or Earth's time ends because everything has an end to it, no doubt. Yeah, but I think there's been many human lifetimes before us, and I mean there's really no concept in my mind of what's going to stop the human race from continuing onwards external from our psychotic leaders that seem to be in some sort of strange satanic pedophile cult that, want to imprison us or manipulate our minds or poison us. Like for the most part, all of us, we get on pretty well if we're not manipulated into chaos, but it just seems like there's people well above us that just cannot let things be, and that's kind of sad, I guess, but what are you gonna do, I guess? It was the right thing to do, so that was cool, I suppose, but the real bonus was knowing that Mika's alone time with his British girl was about to get interrupted. It was a nice night for a walk, so I saved a little money by walking the mile or so back to my hostel. But then instead of taking the road, which got kind of sketchy at night, I walked on the beach. The night sky is incredible out there, another reason why I chose to walk instead, but then maybe halfway through my walk, I see these two Sri Lankan guys standing on either side of someone sitting on a sun lounger. And even from a distance... What's my favorite video game of all time? Fuck, I don't even know. I remember Battlefield Bad Company 2 was like, I loved that game when it came out, mainly because I did not expect it to be like better than Modern Warfare that came out at that time. And it had vehicles, it had all this like cool shit. It was really satisfying, great leveling system. And I played that for so fucking long. Do a poll, are you a cat or dog person? Yeah, we can do a poll. Are you a cat or dog person? Didn't we already ask that the other day? Have you read about Peter Singer's concept of ethics and morality and his argument that all humans are evil? I've not. Yeah, what's his thoughts on all humans being evil? And what's his definition of evil in that scenario? There's definitely something about the hidden powers not wanting us to know the true history of the world. I believe it's one of the big clues to the truth. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's really strange to me that a lot of people just like, they read the history books, they listen to the news, and then that's like pretty much their only interpretation of reality, is that everything is just sort of casually happening organically, that there's no external influence from like money, moneyed interests. The moneyed interests have no control of the media. There's no central intelligence involvement. There's no Mossad involvement. There's no MI6 or fucking the Five Eyes. There's no extraterrestrial involvement. They just like, there's so many other variables that I think even if you got remotely creative could like determine at least being a possibility of having a desire for the outcome of humans or an outcome in a certain scenario. And it's almost like, no dynasties, no continuations from the old guard. Like, you know what I mean? Like when Babylon fell, did you think that those bloodlines just stopped having influence over stuff? Whenever Rome fell, did you think that those families just disappeared? No, they take different form. When the Nazis fell, like, do you think they just disappeared? Like everybody goes somewhere and starts anew. That's what's so amazing about the modern world, is like your money can take you wherever you want it to go. You can take on different forms. You can call yourself something else. You can put on a little disguise and Anyways, it's really a detailed paper. Just put in ChatGPT. Peter Singer argument is his paper, Famine, Affluence, and Morality. It will give a good summary. Okay, let's try it. Let's give it a whirl. Can you summarize the paper? Famine, Affluence, Morality. Everyone is afraid of being called a conspiracy theorist in 2026. No critical thinking. Well, it's just so stupid. It's like, to make fun of someone's perspective, though I understand that, like, tactic when it comes to having a conversation sometimes, it just negates them as a person, basically, Like, sometimes if a schizophrenic homeless guy comes up to me under a bridge and says some wild stuff about a troll, I might at least entertain. I might think it's ridiculous, but I might ask him, like, where's this troll? Tell me about this troll. And then he gets to tell me about the troll, and maybe there's a fucking troll under there or some shit, I'm not saying that's the greatest example, but it is very strange to me how, like, some people's only way to, like, negate things is either to say you're insane or you're a racist. Like, that's literally the only way people know how to have conversations nowadays, and then they think in their mind that there's some sort of philosopher, some sort of political analyst, and it's like, no, you're a fucking retard. If the only thing you can do is just completely shut down someone's argument by calling them a pejorative or something like that, then you're a dumb person. You're naive, and like, you gotta have a conversation. Otherwise, you don't have any ability to expand your perspective or understand that which you perceive to disagree with. The famous example, Singer uses a simple thought experiment. You see a child drowning in a shallow pond. You can save them easily, but your clothes will get muddy. Should you save the child? No question. The big leap he makes, Singer says, donating money to save people from dying from famine, like in places such as Bangladesh at the time, is morally the same as saving that child. Distance doesn't matter, whether others could help doesn't matter. His principle, he states, if it is in our power to prevent something bad from happening without sacrificing anything of comparable moral importance, we ought to do it. What that means in practice, if you're spending money on luxuries, extra clothes, entertainment, etc., while others are starving or dying, you are doing something morally wrong by not helping. I guess maybe people probably don't have a lot of faith in the systems that promise that they'll donate the money to the starving kids or whatever. I mean, people are a lot less likely to assist with something if they don't see it directly in front of their eyes, and maybe that's just like built into our psyches overall. If I have a dog, it will be a pit bull trained to detect ice. There he is, guys. Get him. You bring it through the TSA and it just goes fucking nuts. Nothing in the... Oh. A lot of people are also say stuff like, I don't know, the thing is absolutely not harmful to the human body. The study says so, but all that means is there isn't currently evidence for it. Well, right. I mean, if you have a certain distrust of something that you have to put into your body, there's nothing telling you or forcing you to do it, you know? Like in the same way that like some people say there's nothing that's really harmful from drinking diet soda all the time, but I stop because in my mind, there's something instinctually within me that's like, I shouldn't drink this shit. This shit shouldn't go in me. It's not there to benefit me. And who, you know what I mean? Like there's so much money that goes into the distribution of soda, the subsidies that come from soda. Of course there's going to be influences upon the health studies on whether or not it's like harmful to a human body, whether it affects your gut biome or eventually forms a fucking tumor in your head. You know, you don't know like who is influencing those studies. I mean, I guess you really do, because you can actually look up who those studies and who funded them. The irony is like how people argue for the existence of aliens, yet when you present them with information about jinn, they claim you're insane. Well, yeah, I can understand why aliens might be like a crossover there, where it's like aliens, but it's non-human entities or non-human intelligences that are interdimensional. Like maybe it's the same shit, right? You know? Who knows, bro? I haven't drank soda in literal years, and it definitely makes a difference in health. Yeah, for sure. Especially I remember being a kid, like stopping the sugary stuff, immediately losing weight. It just means you guys fear about dying too young. I just may be too anxious. Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't, I guess, benefit to constantly fear your death, but you gotta like live your life and live healthily, you know? Or wait, you're saying we fear wait, what are you saying? Is it just me, or do you guys fear about dying too young? I may just be too anxious. Like, are you afraid of dying, or are you not afraid of dying? The thing is that if you eat shitty, right, you might die out of nowhere, but it's going to be a slow death. You know, it's going to be a slow death of being fat, and then it's going to be a slow death of eventually getting your gallbladder explodes, right? You know, or you have to you get diabetes and you lose your fucking toe, and then you lose your toe, and then the surgeon actually wants to make more money from you, so he cuts off half your foot, and then you lose half your foot, and then he wants to cut off up to the ankle, and then that stupid fucking surgeon wants to cut below the knee, and then the surgeon wants to cut above the knee. You know, it's just like, it's just this slow process of a shitty life, where if you just ate healthy and worked out, you could live till fucking 86 and still probably lift weights and go on a nice long walk with your grandchildren. Like, that sounds fucking way better than being in a fucking wheelchair for the 20 last years of your existence because you had a stroke. Yuck. I had an encounter with 6 alien beings in 1969. They think humans are stupid, and in fact they are fearful of us. You think it was the other way around, but it ain't. What are they fearful of? I mean, there's no regret or nothing after we die, so there's that. You don't know that. But there is a lot of regrets that you can objectively determine in your current life, so it's like you might as well try and make some of the better decisions that you could to extend that good part of life. They chill with the wheelchair if it had booster jets. That would be sick. The night sky is incredible out there. Another reason why I chose to walk instead, but Then maybe about halfway through my walk, I see these two Sri Lankan guys standing on either side of someone sitting on some lounge chair. And even from a distance, I could tell it was the red-headed Russian. The Sri Lankan guys were standing, but the Russian was almost as tall as them sitting down, like he was this huge lump just sitting there silent while the Sri Lankans were talking among themselves. Now, I'm in a pretty good mood, right? So I see the Russian guy and I say, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" And then I ask the two Sri Lankans what's going on. They explained that they'd closed their bar for the night, and when they tried to get the Russian to leave, he ended up sitting his butt down in one of their loungers. The same lounge chair that they needed to clean and stack before they could get home for the night. The Russian guy was already a big proponent of blank stares and few words, but when I looked at him, he looked near blackout drunk. His face was all red, eyes bloodshot, kind of panting too, like one of those fat English bulldogs. And I remember what Mika said about him maybe being cool, so I took it upon myself to... Had a rough day since tummy is acting up, irritable bowel syndrome, not saying anything else. Just having a hella hard time waking up today. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It doesn't sound fun at all. Studied for 12 years, then we worked for 40, and we finally lived free the last 5 to 10 years of our lives. Yeah, I mean, if only you could work a job in the United States and then teleport instantaneously to Vietnam or some shit where the conversion rate's super low and live comfortably. I remember what Mika said about him maybe being cool, so I took it upon myself to do what those Sri Lankan guys... Motherfucker. I remember what Mika said about him maybe being cool, so I took it upon myself to do those Sri Lankan guys a favor by moving him on while befriending him in the process. I tried almost everything except physically pushing him off that lounge chair. But you know what worked in the end? Saying the word vodka to him. His eyes lit up, and then, after repeating the word back to me, he hauled himself to his feet and we were on the move. The Sri Lankan guys were very grateful and were yelling, "Thank you, good night," as we walked off. And then, being drunk out of his mind, I started out of my mind. God damn it, man. The Fall of Civilization YouTuber and podcaster documentary does talk a lot about how many times we humans have keep coming back from the extinction. Some human race have already got extinct or simply mixed to race. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising, man. I think that's a weird thing too, is that a lot of people who will call you a conspiracy theorist about something minute that you later find out actually was correct. I mean, honestly, what do they say with conspiracy theories? The only difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory is 6 to 8 months nowadays, right? Or 2 years, you find out that you were correct the entire time in your distrust of a current narrative. But those same people who are conditioned in their brain to call you a conspiracy theorist all the fucking time are probably also the same ones to be loosely open to the idea that humanity has gone through multiple extinction event type things, and I don't know. I guess maybe because that one doesn't affect their current worldview, maybe their directional perspective of their life is completely unaffected by that information anyways, because they just think they're dying and going to turn to stardust at the end anyways. But I don't know. I don't really enjoy people who just like to exist in a really safe, compartmentalized sensation of reality. Just sit there and let the authority tell you what is truth, just like you were going to fucking Catholic mass or some shit, or listening to an imam tell you what you should believe. And it's just at least use your own fucking brain. At least be a little bit creative. Is it weird to take a second shower even though you've already cleaned, but you just emotionally want to be in the shower? No, I definitely get that way. I do all my routine and then I just kind of sit there in a ball and cry. The conspiracy theories are just called spoiler alerts. Yeah, exactly. Dude, it's actually true. I mean, some of the shit that's playing out here with the fucking energy crisis bullshit. I mean, I don't know if you remember, like, when Klaus Schwab was like, the things that are going to happen when the energy crisis hits the world and there will be major blackouts and the inability to travel and move will be considered, by comparison, COVID-19, a minor inconvenience. You know, it's like, holy shit, dude. Like, COVID-19 is going to be, like, looked back upon as, like, an actually chill event compared to what seemingly is coming. Or rather, what's happening right now. I gotta make it to my bedtime. I think we gotta go. We gotta go! Then, being drunk out of my mind, I started just yapping at the Russian guy in a language he couldn't understand, just for fun of it. Now, I remember saying, "What's your deal, dude? I bet your parents made you wrestle bears in the circus, because you're built like a freaking tank, aren't you?" Now, he didn't say anything in reply. He didn't even look at me. He just kept staggering along the beach at my side as I kept on yapping away. We walked for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then the hostel we were staying at came into view. But when the Russian realized that I hadn't taken him towards vodka, he got mad. He turned and then started staggering towards me, saying something in Russian. I told him to chill, that we could get some drinks another time, but nothing stopped him. I didn't think he'd do anything, so when he did, I reacted way too slowly and ended up basically wrestling with a dude who was easily 30 to 40% larger than me. And as you can imagine, that didn't go well. He quickly overpowers me, puts me in a headlock, and then starts smashing the top of my skull with his fist. And his punches hurt like a mother effer, and all the while I'm yelling at him to stop and get off of me, but all he does is keep pounding. I was able to slip out of the headlock with a lot of struggling once he'd tired himself out a little, but I was so drunk that when I did, I immediately fell on my ass again, and when I did, that Russian guy was on top of me with his hands around my neck. I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling of terror for as long as I live, the one I felt when I realized that this wasn't some drunken scuffle anymore, and that if I didn't get his hands off me, I was probably going to die. I tried pulling his hands away by the wrists, but that was no good. And then I tried throwing punches up at him, but nothing that landed seemed to have any effect on him. I kept punching and punching, trying and failing to fill my lungs. And then when they started to burn, I thought, Jesus Christ, man, this is it. This is how I die. I remember trying one last thing where I reach up and started trying to gouge his eye, but still, this Russian guy didn't let go of me. But then just as I was starting to get weak and feel my head start to spin, I heard this voice shouting, "Oi!" and this human missile flies in on the Russian and knocks him square off me. Now I was still rolling around in the sand trying to catch my breath as this voice in a heavily accented Australian English started yelling, "What's wrong with you, you dog?" That's not Australian at all. I hear there's a new virus. I don't give a shit, dude. Has OP not learned his lesson? What's up, Cod Boy? How we doing? Or nor clear or nor nar. Hey, what's wrong with you, dog? What's wrong with you dog? That sounds so bad. Yeah, what's wrong with you, dog? I don't even want to do the fucking accent. I was still rolling around in the sand, trying to catch my breath, as this voice in some heavily Australian English started yelling, "What's wrong with you, you dog?" And then when I rolled over, I saw 2 of his friends join in, and all 3 of them were built like football players. One of them starts asking me, "Are you alright, mate?" Looked like a nasty bit of business. What if you vote dog, Pradeep? Then you will be replaced.
Stupid dog. Made me look bad. Wugga bugga bugga.
Oh, yeah. It's like doing the accent is tough. It's like, are you alright, mate? Look like a nasty bit of business. You two mates or what? You two mates or what? You two mates or what? It's like everything's got to be like a really, yeah. Are you alright, mate? Look like a nasty bit of business. You two mates or what? It's just like, I don't even want to fucking bother, because then you get just comments and I don't even care. I don't even give a crap. Sounds like a leprechaun, yeah.
Oi, are you alright, mate? Look like a nasty bit of business. Are you two mates or what?
One of them starts asking me, are you alright, mate? Look like a nasty bit of business. Are you two mates or what? And one of them starts asking me, are you alright, mate? Look like a nasty bit of business. Are you two mates or what? I could barely get a word out, but I managed to rasp out a no, as two of the Aussies proceeded to pin this Russian to the sand by sitting on him, while the third said he'd go and get the police. I asked if I shouldn't hang around so I could tell the cops what had happened, but they said that they'd sort it, in their words, and then told me to get myself home and showered to get the sand off me. And that's when I realized how covered in cream. Most Yankers. I'm from Yankeeville, USA. Oi, mate, I'm from the USA. This is what an American sounds like. Fuck you. You right bastard. Hello, Mr. Joey Let Street. How is your day going? It is good, honestly. We're perusing towards the end of it. What are you up to? Have you done scary stories in domestic violence like the Bachelorette who got her show canceled? No, what happened with her? Tell me about it. That's when I realized how covered in it. That's not a knife. How many stories are there? We got one more after this. That's when I realized how covered in it I was. How there was sand in my hair, in my mouth, even my nostrils too. And to this day, I have next to no idea how it all had gotten there. Now, I have no idea what happened to that Russian, if he was arrested, charged, or deported or anything like that, because after telling Mika one hell of a story when he got back later that night, we ended up moving on down the coast the next afternoon. We just didn't want to risk it, you know. There had been enough bad vibes already, so risk it.
Meow.
We just didn't want to risk it, you know. There had been enough bad vibes already, so why risk even more of the off the chance that the Russian managed to skirt his way out of... What the fucking fuck? So why risk even more on the off chance the Russian managed to skirt his way out of trouble? And the rest of my trip was fine. In fact, nothing like that has ever happened to me since, but even now I still think about what might have happened if those 3 Aussies didn't show up for me, and I'm just as grateful for them today as I was when they first showed up and saved my life. So much Russian hate in that story. Okay. Reading is hard, especially in front of 300 people. Oh, I don't really feel like nervous with the amount of people that are here. Like it's because it's just words on a screen, you know. But it's just I suck at reading sometimes, especially trying to get it perfect. Like if I didn't have to record it, I have like techniques in my reading where I really wouldn't make any mistakes at all, because even if I fumbled a little bit, it's I can like transition out of it, you know. Have you heard of Has Been Hotel? That sounds familiar. The best thing that's come out of Australia is AC/DC Steve Irwin. Dude, I miss Steve Irwin, man. What a guy. Alright, well, we got one more story after this here. And I should probably go get some magnesium, methinks. So I'm going to go do that. But guys, why? Because you're not focused in the chat. You can fully focus because you're not in pressure. No, like, okay, watch this. Like, if I were to read this whole first part, I'll read this whole first page and not like make what is a really perceivable mistake. You know what I mean? Whereas when I'm recording, I have to get it perfect. So if I even make a little bit of a mistake, I have to go back and try again. But watch this. A little while ago, I was talking with my 2 teenage granddaughters when the subject of travel came up. One of them suggested that a youthful sense of wanderlust is relatively a new thing, spurred on by cheap flights and Instagram posts depicting influencers in paradise. I agreed with her to an extent. It's easy to develop a thirst for adventure when your feed is filled with videos of people canoeing between tropical islands or hiking up to Machu Picchu. But I also assured her that wanderlust has existed for as long as people have. I know it's a bit cliched to start giving it the old back in my day, but it's true. In days of yore, people only needed to look at maps or hear tales of far-off islands to want to board a ship and sail into the unknown. And in my own youth, the same was true for me too. My grandparents couldn't believe their sweet old grannish... Okay, so that was a fuck up there. Grannish. Sweet old Irish granny had gone off to see the world, especially not all alone. But it was true. So that was like substantially less, but oh, other people are buffering. Shit. Jinxed it! My old grannish granny. Alright guys, I'm gonna go grab my magnesium real quick. I'll be right back. BRB. Be nice to each other.
Mama want milkies.
What's your guys' favorite celebrities? Mine is Benedict Cumberbatch. The hell kind of name is that? He plays Doctor Strange in Marvel. Huh. Weird. His name is literally Bend Over Dick and Come on My Back. What a name. Mel Gibson. Oh, shit. Alright. What in the absolute toot took you so long? I was making some delicious tea, magnesium flavored. Do you think that's what MAGA stands for? Magnesium anal insertion? MAGI. MAGA. It's my first Let's Your Live stream. I always listen to your stories. So thanks, Braden. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. I kind of changed the schedule around recently. Joe, do you know who Pradeep is? He is my kitty cat. What's up, Illusion? How we doing? Oh, I changed it to early now. Just so I can get in bed by like midnight-ish. Because I got to be up to work out in the mornings. I was pooping in Pradeep's litter box, yeah. It's just too good. Able to get McDonald's breakfast. I could if I wanted to eat human meat, but I ain't about that early in the morning. So a little while ago, I was talking with my 2 teenage granddaughters when the subject of travel came up. One of them suggested that useful... Oh, I was like, did I already read this one? Technically I did, but I wasn't recording. I don't know, man. He likes fresh caught, not franchise meat, Sam. Yeah, Justin, do you actually eat McDonald's? There's no way you eat McDonald's. I know you. You're one of those people that sit there. Dude, I have this one friend. He'll sit there and like send pictures of like weird concoctions that like Little Debbie's has come up with. Like Little Debbie's cream pies made to taste like Dr. Pepper or some bullshit. And it's like, bro, you're never fucking touching that in your life. I know for a fact that if it even like grazed past your tongue, you would have to get a tongue scraper to get all of it off. Because it can't have a single carb. But it does look yummy, I understand. Boom, 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 boom. So a little while ago, I was talking with my 2 teenage granddaughters when the subject of travel came up. One of them suggested that a youthful sense of wanderlust is a relatively new thing, spurred on by cheap flights and Instagram posts depicting influencers in paradise. I agreed with her to an extent. It's easy to develop a thirst for adventure when your feed is filled with videos of people canoeing between tropical islands or hitting up to... It's easy to develop a thirst for adventure when your feed is filled up with videos of people canoeing between tropical islands or hiking up to Machu Picchu. But I also assured her that wanderlust has existed for as long as people have. I know it's a bit cliched to start giving it the back in my day thing, but it's true. In days of yore, people only needed to look at maps or hear tales of far-off lands to want to board a ship and sail into the unknown. And in my youth, the same was true for me too. My grandkids couldn't believe their sweet old Irish granny had gone off to see the world, especially not all alone. But it was true. Especially not all alone. Okay, that's the... Has anyone tried cherry coke? Fuck yeah, dude. Cherry coke. Dude, I remember that was like my absolute fucking... Like, I was in heaven as a fat little kid going to a movie theater to see hopefully some form of Jurassic Park with a giant fucking cherry coke in one hand with not a lot of ice, but just enough to keep it cool, and just a massive fucking box. A whole Amazon box filled with like just buttery, salty popcorn. There was no better compliment Hey Joel, Jawad here. First time listener, first time commenter. At what point do the stream do you do ASMR apple crunching? I think all I got left is maybe like a stinky fart. Apple crunching, you're gonna have to pay extra for that. I wish I had apples. No, I don't. But yes, I do. I do bobbing for apples. Celebs are weirdos. Yeah. They eat people, they shapeshift. It's crazy. There's been a strange lack of blender noises in the stream. Did I used to blend? Back when I stayed up late, I don't even remember who that guy was anymore. That would be really fucking funny though, just in the middle of the stream, just like just blending shit up. Hold on guys, I'm almost done. God, dude, I hope World War III waits until after GTA 6 comes out. Dude, you know what's, oh my god, you know what's like 100% gonna happen and 100% gonna cause the Civil War? Is all of the young guys are gonna get drafted off to all of like the exact age bracket to like go play Grand Theft Auto 6 are all gonna get drafted right at that exact moment. And then that's going to be what causes like the uprising, is that everybody just wants to play GTA 6, but they got to go die for Israel. So it's like, that's it. We're storming the capital. JK. Don't curse me. Yeah, but you're not even a U.S. citizen. You'll probably just have to go back to somewhere else. You think about the army changing the age limit? I mean, it's a bit, like I talked about it earlier, it's a bit ominous, is it not? Whenever they change the ability to register to 42, it's like opening the doors to something. I'm too old to get drafted. Ageism strikes again. Don't say never, Justin. They increased it to 42. GTA 6, according to a friend at Rockstar, is going to be the first $100 base game. Well, I think everybody knew that. They said they were going to start charging that. Including my friend at Rockstar, who says there's going to be gay sex. My grandkids couldn't believe their sweet old Irish granny had gone off to see the world, especially not all alone. But it was true. And while I told them all kinds of stories from my time in North Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian subcontinent, there was one I saved till they were a little bit older and were of traveling age themselves, because it was one of the most frightening things that I was ever involved with. I left Dublin in 1971 when I was 19. I got a job in London to save some money for the journey ahead, and then used that time to see Buckingham Palace and Big Ben and all of that stuff. From London, I made my way to Paris, where I managed to get a job in a little Irish bar and did the same thing I did in London for a while before moving on to Spain. And Spain was beautiful. All the food was absolutely out of this world, but my original plan was to head to Italy via the south of France. Yet when I got to the Straits of Gibraltar, looked out across the water and saw Morocco just a few miles away, it was like it was calling to me. I could go to Rome and Greece and see all the places I'd seen and read about in history books, or I could head to a place where the people, the food, the music, and the culture were a complete and utter mystery to me. And when I thought of it like that, my mind was made up for me, and off to Morocco I went. I arrived in Tangier. That's how you say it, Tangier. GTA 6 is finally downloaded. You're dead. Yeah, the only person that's going to get to play GTA 6 is fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Tangier. Long-time listener, first-time commenter, you got me through my pregnancy alone. Thank you. You're welcome. Sorry about the doing it alone, but I hope everything's going well for you. Thank you for listening. You're 43, so of course they know very specific. Wow. Okay. Wait, are you that exact age? Interesting. First time streamer watching, I'm super stoked. Love this discussion. Very nice to hear your standpoint on this. Oh yeah. I mean, like, I'm just yammering. I don't know. It's really strange to me sometimes, like, everybody's opinions are so samey, you know what I mean? If you say one opinion, somehow you're evil. But then all of those people seem to have the same opinion as the people within their in-group. And you have to ask yourself, like, are those opinions that they have actually their opinions? Or is it just some sort of fucking, is it some sort of, like, defense mechanism within their mind where they convince themselves they actually believe what they believe? Or are they just doing it as like a survival mechanism to like fit into their group and not be kicked out or whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's just strange. Everybody just has the exact same thing. And I guess obviously just the repetitious nature of the media, you hear it so often, you don't even know that there's like maybe alternative manners in which to think. And I guess I'm susceptible to that too. I mean, a lot of the shit that I say is just like when you kind of are, you know, when it touches your earlobes. You're getting me through my divorce. Oh, dude, Haley, I'm sorry about that. I hope it's going okay. That's like one of my biggest fears in life is getting married and then just going through a fucking divorce. I'm sorry. I'm here, Joel. I haven't been here in a long while. How are you? Good to see you. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you. Hello, Alex. Good to see you, too. Status video, 60-year-old Ukrainian men get conscripted into war and a 20-year-old female singing them their goodbye song. That is fucking sad. I mean, I really hope that doesn't come here, but I really don't want that over there. Fuck. What am I, you know? I'm just like farting out of my mouth, essentially saying anything because it doesn't matter. But the question is, like, are you guys willing, if you get conscripted to go to war, to like actually stand up for the fact that you don't agree with the war and just not go? Like, is that something that most people would be willing to do? We could be like, we could change our name to Muhammad Ali, maybe. Can you send me a letter of recommendation? I can make you one of the most important ditch digging people ever. Met many people in the South and they question their religious beliefs because it's just the religion they were raised in, possibly not what they actually believe. Yeah, totally understandable. That's how it is with a lot of religions anywhere you go. I mean, and I've known many people who are within or, you know, there's subreddits as well, like, you know, ex-Islam, and it's like Islam is a scary one to like get out of. Like, there's generally some very zealot types that will threaten your life for fucking trying to get out of that shit. Like, people think fucking Southern Baptist people are like strict with their stuff. Like, try to go to any other fucking country and deviate from what your parents believed. Jill's a psychiatrist, getting people through tough times, but yeah, you did help me too, so now I'm in love with you. Oh, thank you. Just came back. How many stories do I have left? We got one more. We're just cruising along here. Tangier. I arrived in Tangier after a rough overnight ferry and an even rougher bus ride. I grew up in Dublin, so I thought that I was familiar with the hustle and bustle of a big city, but Tangier made my home city look like a sleepy little village out in the countryside. The second I stepped off the bus at the big central station, there were fellas all around me and the other passengers offering hotels, taxis, hashish, you name it. I had one guy actually try and grab my bag off of me so he could carry it, and I had to shout and bat him away so he'd leave me alone. I don't think he meant anything by it because some of the other wannabe helpers started laughing at him and poking fun in Arabic, but it made for one heck of an introduction to Morocco, and the intensity level never really dropped. The old city was like a sensory overload, a maze of tiny white streets with technicolored washing flapping. Technicolor? What the fuck is it saying? Where's my drink? I want to live in a world without religions, all fake and gay. I mean, honestly, once World War III happens and the aliens show up, like, the aliens will give you a new religion, right? One that everyone will be unified under, some sort of like strange Luciferian and style stuff, but it's like going to be kind of formed as like new age style hippie bullshit. So that's most likely the one religion. You're probably never going to escape religion. Have you ever chartered a jet, like fly a jet? I'm not going to try and force me will result in violence, but again, whoever you're getting your info from is lying to convince you to live in fear, not World War III. Iran is their own, and this is one-sided. Wait, can you say what you said again? I'm a little confused. But to be honest, being ex any religion isn't easy, and most of the time it's not the religions, but the people who falsely misinterpret his teaching and so on. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it can always be manipulated in all sorts of different sub-straits and sub-sects, and if there's any sort of violence, like you said, with like the cultures and stuff, I mean, you're just going to get a different version of it everywhere you go. One could be violent, one could be not. What would happen after the last story? The live stream started too early, maybe a game reviewer. Well, I mean, like I said, I got to go to bed at like midnight-ish. So after the last story, that's why I'm starting early. Awake for 28 hours. Do you really think we'll have World War III? I just don't, listen, I don't see the purpose of starting this conflict with Iran if there isn't a reason to bring about a large degree of chaos that falls under the interpretation of what is considered Agenda 2030, of which is basically going to highly mitigate your ability to travel, of which is going to happen under an energy crisis, which is already like underway, right? They want people to exist under this, like, you know, especially within the United States and outward, they want everyone to exist in this like AI grid system where everything you do, everywhere you move is limited and watched and controlled and centralized by, you know, to the government. And they got you by the balls. Your UBI money is only dished out to you if you're a good little like social light citizen, kind of like how it might be in China with like their social credit score stuff. And yeah, I mean, you need chaos to bring about, you know, sweeping changes. And this chaos, like we already have like everything in place as far as like the wars go. Like Russia's already begun its conflict. We have Israel begun its conflict. We have the Chinese prepared to take Taiwan here soon. Everybody's in their place, right? So exactly where the nukes will fall per se, I have no clue, or when they'll fall, but it just seems like everything is kind of like progressing along that timeline. I'm not stoked about it, but I have no idea how to stop it. You mentioned being a fan of the Wi-Fi's. Have you listened to his Basement podcast at all? Some really interesting, cool guests thus far. I've not, no. I didn't even know he had that, so that's good to know. Is it just him talking just all sorts of random stuff? You're getting info from his line to keep you in a constant state of fear, and you're letting it work. It's not World War III. Iran is on their own, and this war is entirely one-sided. Well, I asked you to repeat yourself, but I didn't mean like just copy-paste. I meant like, can you expand on why you don't think like this war could escalate to something substantially worse? I mean, we're definitively going to go through an energy crisis that's going to be pretty bad here soon. And then, you know, whether that results in things escalating within Iran, I don't know exactly. But I mean, I can only see things potentially getting worse. That's literally, I would love to like see things de-escalate, but it seems like every decision this administration has made, and every administration prior, just seems to continuously be heading towards this direction, setting all of the pieces in place for, I don't know, some sort of new world order of sorts. Alex Lawson, welcome to the Buttersaw Cult. You now have access to bonus content. I mean, shit's certainly not getting any better. It's not getting cheaper. It's not getting, I don't know. just seems like we're like at the precipice of something very historic here, and it seems like it's constantly just like the history books are constantly just adding more and more shit to the pile. Get me through 9 on the boredom, but also I'm feeling upset and need a break. No worries. Probably do have plans for all that, but you know, maybe a miracle happens and it won't have to get to that point. I mean, I'd love that, man. I would be so stoked about that. Because one of the things that frustrates me too is like the idea that a lot of like people are kind of under the interpretation that we're like quote unquote in the end times, and then if you were like some sort of like you were planning all this, right? You would almost want to make it look like the end times so that you could, I don't know, justify it or whatever. Like it's never going to be quite what it seems. And I kind of worry that a lot of our existence is just some like annoying dark sci-fi, and that the decisions that the government make have nothing to do with like gods or demons or angels or any bullshit like that. It's just like they want to frame it as such. It's Joe Rogan style long form podcast with guests, and he's spoken or about it previous videos. The Grandmaster and the Knights Templar lets the people tell their story info. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Looks it up, and if you have a disability, mental issues, take medicine, or even been to prison, then the military won't draft you. Yeah, I think they changed some stipulations, but you might have, like after you do get drafted or whatever, you have to go in front of a board, and basically you should look into it more now so that you can like get your documentation ready so you can show some board that like I am a conscientious objector, a religious exemption, or some type of issues you might have, but make sure you have it all like documented and ready to rock and roll. Otherwise you're up there to get your fucking your cock blown off. Step 1. I feel like the world isn't any peaceful. Even the peace we get is short-lived. It's messy, and our existence isn't for naught. It's just what you believe it alters it. Yeah, because without Russia and China, it's not going to escalate to World War III. They have abandoned their ally. It's just another war like every other one in the Middle East. Nothing new. I'm just saying, like, things could escalate, but my fear is that the desire to escalate it to these larger conflicts, what if those are the false flags necessary to restructure things? And what if the entire world order is like almost like working in tandem with itself to generate set, like they're almost like all playing a part in like a larger theater. Maybe that's insane, but I mean, it's a possibility. Alex with the 5 says, Joe, I just want to say thank you for being here, and I need to say something. You're my safe space. So I'm glad to meet everyone here, and also a virtual hug. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. You're safe here until we start beating you with sticks. This may sound dumb, but do American women get drafted to war? Only the hot ones. Only the big-bootied Latinas will be allowed in the barracks. Just kidding. Everybody can join. No discrimination here. The old city was like a sensory overload, a maze of tiny white streets with technicolored washing flapping on lines overhead. Does that line make any sense? Technicolored washing flapping on lines overhead. What do you think about John Fetterman? Initially I was like, John Fetterman seems, like just kind of like a bozo, I guess. But then it seemed like at one point he was like even after like a stroke, he was like one of the only people that were kind of like speaking some sense in regards to some stuff within Pennsylvania, or like, as a representative. But at the same time, I just don't, it's hard to like give a shit. If your guy that's representing you looks like Lurch and goes and wears like a fucking big hoodie to his shit. And then there's something really creepy about his wife. It's almost like she's like waiting to like step in or something. I don't know. It's just very odd with her or him and all of them. Hey, Frost. What's up, dude? Colorful clothes. Technicolored washing flapping on lines overhead. Oh, that does make sense. Thank you. Sorry. It was a good line. It just like for some reason wasn't clicking. It's a good line. It's a really good line. The old city was like a sensory overload, a maze of tiny white streets. A maze of poop-covered underwear. Jesse! Welcome to the Butterstalk Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Tori, good to see you. Thanks for coming. The old city was like a sensory overload. A maze of tiny white streets with technicolored washing flapping on lines overhead. Then the marketplaces were absolute bedlam. Sacks of colorful spices were everywhere, with piles of oranges and lemons adding to the medley of all of it. And there were all kinds of shiny copper trinkets and jewelry, then rugs so intricately stitched that I started getting horny. Sorry to hear that, Susie Q. There were all kinds of shiny copper trinkets and jewelry, then rugs so intricately stitched that I just had to pick one up on the way home. And the whole thing was soundtracked by endless haggling, which only stopped when the call to prayer rang out, loud and haunting, over flat rooftops. The smells were amazing too. Everywhere smelled like cumin, cinnamon, and ginger, and in certain places I smelled this very strong, fragrant, but almost oily smell that I later found out was burning hashish. Now, I got a taste for the sweet mint tea that they drink over there, and my favorite spots to drink were this Cafe Baba up on the hill and Cafe Hafa right on the cliff edge. And at night, the square came alive with acrobats, snake charmers, and storytellers, and I'd head out for a whole meal of This guy really likes his food. Most of the story is just gonna have my mouth watering. Tangine. Tagine. Tagine? New Taco Bell items? What? Justin, do you eat like one cucumber, maybe? You eat basically 1/4 of ants on a log. It's 1/8 an inch of a cucumber with a small slathering of almond butter and one organic shriveled up raisin. That's all you get, because you're a model and you must watch your figure. Alright, but anyways, what are the new items? New items at Taco Bell that don't cause diarrhea. Crispy chicken crunchwrap sliders. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm loving it. It still all looks like the same dog shit. Perfect. And that's all I need. Whoa, what is that? Confetti cookie freeze? Mountain Dew Baja Midnight Dirty Soda. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking come. Steak and guac nacho fries. Sheesh. And the coup de grace. 10-piece crispy chicken nugs. Oh, fuck, spicy. Spicy. Fuck yeah. Let me get the crispy chicken nuggets deluxe combo. It's only 10 million calories, all of which goes right to your heart. Honestly, dying drinking Baja Blast wouldn't be the worst way to go out. Am I streaming on Easter? Probably. Actually, I guess we'll see. I'm not making my bedtime. Good fucking point. Damn it! Got a blast. Hey, Joel Jawad here. First time listener, first time creamer. As the chat's resident extremist, when my side wins, my first fatwa will be curry chicken on all pizzas. You blasphemous bastard. Oh, God. Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. I might join you. Prime Rib just picked artichoke, right? Say what? At the night, the square came alive with acrobats, snake charmers, and storytellers, and I'd head out for a whole meal of tagine or couscous, which back then cost less than $1. Then when I was too tired to keep my eyes open anymore, I'd head back to the hostel that I checked into on my first day I arrived, and I'd catch some sleep before doing it all again the next day. My hostel consisted of 2 dorms, 1 male, 1 female, with each having space for about 12 mattresses. You got a little foot locker to lock things in, and there were communal showers and toilet facilities too, but that was about it. It was a place to rest your head. Nothing more, nothing less, but some heads needed more rest than others. It tended to be those who mixed booze and hash that suffered the worst hangovers, and it wasn't uncommon for me to have to rise, shower, and dress in silence so as not to disturb some very cranky partiers. One night, I came home really late myself to find someone passed out under a blue sheet. Now, I reckon that they'd probably had a little too much and needed to sleep it off, but in the morning, they were still there, covered from head to toe in that blue sheet. And as I said, I was used to being extra quiet in the mornings, and so I completed my morning routine with all the energy of a dormouse, and then... A dormouse? A dormouse? Did I fix my sleep schedule? I did, bro. We're on that good in alcohol. Boo, doo, 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 doo. By good, I mean crack cocaine. Good night, Lynn. Take care. Sleep swell. As I said, I was used to being extra quiet in the mornings, and so I completed my morning routine with all the energy of a dormouse and then headed out to do some more exploring. Now, I had another amazing day in Tangier, but I wanted to get some of the Marrakesh too, so after visiting the bus station to inquire about ticket prices, I went back to the hostel to take a shower and a siesta before the evening. But then, when I arrived, I saw 2 police cars outside. I eyed them curiously on my approach, and then as I walked into the hostel, one of the officers shouted something to me in Arabic. And while I couldn't understand exactly what he was saying, I figured it was more or less translated to halt. Now, I turned around in time to see the hostel's owner across the way, and it looked like he was comforting one of the other girls that had been staying in the dorm with me. His English was really good thanks to all the tourists and backpackers who came through, so after excusing himself from the girl, I think she was Dutch, he rushed over to explain what was going on. There was a lot of drug smuggling going on in Tangier at the time, with backpackers just like me bringing hash back home to make some massive profits. And while people smoking hash was somewhat tolerated by police, they did not like smugglers. So you'd hear stories from backpackers and being stopped, searched, and sometimes even arrested if they had a large amount of hash on them and not enough cash to pay the bribe. Now, I thought it was something like that because it was mostly solo backpackers, and I obviously fit that profile. But then instead of asking to look through my things, the police started asking me questions about where I'd been the previous night. The owner of the hostel was doing all the translating, so it was a bit slow going back and forth, but they kept asking where I'd been and what I'd done. But most of all, they wanted to know if I had any interactions with one of my dorm mates. My doormats. I'm on that good in alcohol. Someone's dead next to me at the thing. Are you on Ozempic, Joel? Come on, man. What did I say that sounds like I'm on Ozempic? You can hear it in my voice, can't you? I need Godzilla. For me as a Christian, Krishna, I'm educated as to why humans so messed up, but I always express the pain caused by the passion and ignorance. Much goodness does not exist. Do I have a crush? I just crush it every day at the gym. Would I be a slippery husband? It would be hard to get a hold of me, I'll be honest with you. Absolutely drenched in goo. Weird standards. How can you be okay with it being exchanged but not smuggled? I know, it's baloney. Maybe there's an international penalty. Good in alcohol. I got a crush on your mom. Okay. But most of all, they wanted to know if I'd had any interactions with one of my dorm mates, a French girl whose name had sadly slipped my mind. Now, I think it was Melina or Selena or maybe even Celine, but whatever it was, they wanted to know if we'd spoken and what was said. I told them I'd hardly said a word to anyone I was staying with, and there were girls from all over Europe passing through and staying on those beds, so I didn't even know who they were referring to in the first place. One of the police officers then asked how I'd slept that previous night. I was confused, so after telling them that I slept just fine, I asked why that mattered. The same officer asked if I'd noticed anything the next morning, anything at all about my dorm room, and that's when it hit me. And when it hit me all at once. I've been so programmed for privacy that I didn't see the lump under the blue sheet for what it was. How no one could pass out under a sheet in the Moroccan heat for 9 hours without once getting up to pee or even get a drink of water. Not unless they were dead. I started to panic, realizing that not only had I slept all night with a dead body just feet away from me, but I'd casually showered and dressed without even paying the poor girl a second thought. And then on top of all of that, the police thought I'd killed her. Or at least that's when it felt like when they asked me to speak. I think this chick killed her. Have you seen Mr. Nightmare? Where is he? Is he on the run? Is he wanted for being a silly goose? What's up, Drew C? When you shave, does it come back in literal hours? Go the fuck away forever. Yeah, dude, it's impossible to avoid it. As I shave downward, it's just like filling in at the same speed, but longer. Do. Or at least, that's when it felt like when they asked. Oh, maybe what it felt like. Duh, my bad. What it felt like. Hey Joe, I've been recovering from surgery on my arm. Just wanted to say hi, and I'm curious, how long have I been a subscriber? I don't know, Derek. I'm not sure if I can see on my end, to be honest with you, or how you find that. Don't shave ever. Just be a big monkey. Then on top of all of that, the police thought I'd killed her. Or at least, that's what it felt like when they asked to speak to me down at the police station. It led me away to my car. The hostel's owner was nice enough to come down to the station with me to act as translator, and there I saw a handful of other guests, all sitting on plastic seating in what passed for a kind of waiting room. They didn't put us in cells, although I suppose they could have if they wanted to. They just wanted to ask us some questions, so that's what they did. And I'll be honest, I was distraught when they were asking questions of me. Not so much because I was scared that I'd get the blame for the girl's death, but because I felt so terrible for her. The feeling sorry for myself only lasted a minute or two, then after that I broke for her. They didn't say how she'd been murdered, only that it was a murder. But I suppose from my reaction, they could tell that I wasn't the one who did it. I mean, I was just one of 3 girls who slept near the body that night, but for whatever reason, none of us were considered suspects. None of the other guys staying in the hostel got arrested either, and since there were obviously no security cameras, there was no CCTV footage to identify who the girl had been hanging around with before she was killed. Hanging around with before. Been listening to your vids to sleep. Horrible idea, but this is my first time in a live stream. Do you record all your stories live and edit them later? I do, yeah. I thought you were in the last one, Sonny Michael. 9 minutes. Oh god, I gotta move. Or I turn into a gremlin at midnight. Why didn't they say how? I don't know. In the back of my mind, as soon as they said she was dead, I have a feeling that maybe she, like, took some drug, came back to sleep it off, and then died from the overdose from the drug or some shit. Stop chatting so much, Joel can finish. No, it's okay. The whole purpose is to be distracted. So if the streams start at 7:30, roughly when do they end? Usually 4 hours later-ish. I did start early, yeah, 7:30 p.m. EST. EST is the time. Hey, Maz, good to see you, thank you. I can't get that shit out. Why is my mag not kicking in? I don't know, bro. What the hell's wrong with me? I even took half a milligram of melatonin. Maybe it will here in a bit. It's a slow release. Started your own YouTube show. I want to be like you someday. I believe in you, Amber. You can do it. Do I make money? I do, yeah. Yepper, this is my job. None of the lads staying in the hostel got arrested either, and since there were obviously no security cameras, there were no CCTV. None of the guys staying in the hostel got arrested either, and since there were obviously no security cameras, there was no CCTV footage to identify who the girl had been hanging around with before she was killed. The police told us that we couldn't leave the hostel until they'd done some investigating, and us girls asked if there was anywhere else we could sleep, and the owner wouldn't let us sleep in the men's dorm with them, but the guys volunteered to sleep outside in the backyard so that we had somewhere to sleep that wasn't home to a corpse just hours before. A few days later, the police came back and said they'd arrested a suspect, so we were all free to leave Tangier if we wanted to. They wouldn't tell us anything more, really, and only that there weren't. Okay. They wouldn't tell us anything more, only that we weren't suspects. The experience formed a little bond in the group that ended up staying in the hostels after the girl's body was found, and I ended up traveling down to Marrakesh with them. We had a really good time, especially in the daytime when we could do things to distract ourselves. But at night, while we were smoking and drinking, someone would inevitably bring up the girl's murder and things would obviously get quite dark. I still think about that girl sometimes, being reminded of her through telling my grandkids about her, had her on... What the fuck is this? I still think about that girl sometimes and being reminded of her through telling my grandkids about her, had her on my mind for... Okay. So broke to become a member, hopefully someday. Hey, no worries. No worries about a thing. Hey, see ya, Joshua. Take care, dude. I still think about that girl sometimes, and being reminded of her through telling my grandkids about her had her on my mind for days and days on end. I told them so they'd know to be careful, so they'd know not everyone out there is just a friend that they haven't met yet. Canada Detective! Yeah. Joe, you need to read the thing for Saturn would still... Oh, thank you, Saxia. God bless you. I will go do that quickly. Quickly? I'll do that really quick. Wait. Actually, let's read the outro first. If not friend, why friend-shaped? laying dead in the bed next to you. If not friend, why dead? It would be devastating if she stayed a mystery forever. Hope at least she got her justice. Who are you talking about? Alright guys, think of something funny for me to say in this outro. Would ya, please? Hey friends, thanks for listening. click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights, starting at 7:30 p.m. Hope to see you there, Eastern Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have a true crime channel called Saturn Soul. New video out now. Go check it out. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, wubba-lubba-dub-dub. I think I've done that actually twice before. If not cat, why so cuddly? Russian bear. Oh yeah, we can, and remember, do not poop in Pradeep's litter box. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, if not friend, why friend-shaped? Okay, and now we'll read the Saturn Snow part. Not all birds end up in a cat versus dogs poll. Oh, that's true. We had to end the poll. Who won it? Dude, dogs won. Good job, dogs. But 317 votes ain't bad. Okay. Let's read this here. During the crowded days of the 1890s in Chicago, a peculiar hotel stood just behind the bustle. During the crowded days of the 1890s in Chicago, a peculiar hotel stood just beyond the bustle of the World's Columbian Exposition. Its owner was a charming and well-spoken doctor who welcomed travelers with an easy smile. But inside the building's strange halls and locked rooms, quiet rumors began to grow, whispers that some guests had entered and were never seen again. Hear the full story over on my true crime channel, Saturn Soul, linked down below. Now enjoy the stories. Oh my god, that was flawless. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, this guy's a voice actor. Alright guys, yeah, hopefully the streams will pick up in viewership as we get people used to the time change. But yeah, next stream I'll be back Sunday. Yeah, Easter. When's Easter? No, that's 2 Sundays from now. Which I guess I'll be streaming Easter too, but yeah, I'll be back this Sunday most likely to record more spooky ones. What's up, Beth? Oh yeah, did you miss this one? I'm sorry. But yeah, new streams will be, like all future streams, 7:30-ish p.m. 7:38 p.m. /8 p.m. EST is the start time. Try to get done before, around midnight, and I can have a normal sleep. But guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll get this edited up over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access to all audio of the episodes. So, and then if you want to be kept up to date, want to go live and see pictures of Pradeep, follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. Pradeep is my cat. He's a cute guy. So, all right, guys. Love you, appreciate you. I know I said a lot of black pilling things tonight, but understand, your eternal soul will be okay. See ya.